Good morning, everybody. Let me let the Discord know we're live. Good morning. Sorry for the late start. We get going here quickly. Whisper says, I'll get to this tweet here above in a second, but I'm nowhere near an expert on what's happening in Israel, in Palestine, and so I was talking to our Discord, and we just found out that Whisper is like 350 trillion years old. So I did not know that. First order of business, C. Jones, he says RTP needs a weekend show. It's, look, if I'm going to do a week... I looked crazy there when I did that. If we're going to do a weekend show, I'm going to have to give up a day during the week. And maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll give up Monday, maybe Thursday. Thursday, see, no. Thursday seems like a good day to give that up. I am in excruciating pain. I just need you guys... Not excruciating, that was a little far. I'm in a good amount of pain. So if for some reason I end this early, that's probably why. I just took the coward's way out and ended it early. That's probably what will have happened. I have something going on with my back. I'm not sure. I'll go see my physical therapist today, and we'll get that taken care of. But happy Monday. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. Met up with some Twitter or some TikTok folks this weekend, and I'm horrific with names, so I'm not going to take a mite off. Jesus. So I'm not going to name it, but I appreciate Hole for inviting me. I did meet Hole. He's every bit as horrendous in person as he is on TikTok. Just not a pleasant person at all. So if you see Hole, or if Hole's here, you guys understand. You've been around him before. Yeah, I just got on. And again, I'm nowhere near an expert. Hole is in AZ currently for maybe one more day. Again, not an expert on the Israel-Palestine stuff. I'd be happy to take a seat if people need to discuss it. I'll take a back seat to that discussion. But this fucking guy, he cannot see a tragedy and not try to market it. If you remember, post 9/11, so many stupid things that Donald Trump did post 9/11. He at one point claimed he had the tallest building again. He pretended that he had been at Ground Zero. He said that he saw people celebrating in the streets. He lied about sending men down to work down at Ground Zero. So many things. And he will always take any opportunity to promote himself, regardless of what's happening. And this is just exactly who Donald Trump is. The same people that raided Israel are pouring into our once beautiful USA through our totally open southern border at record numbers. Why record numbers is in capital letters there? Nobody fucking knows. Why? Those are not proper nouns. Who knows why you would do that, but it's just Donald Trump. Are they planning an attack within our country? Crooked Joe Biden and his boss. Why boss? Why is boss in all caps also? Why is that in all caps? Barack Hussein Obama did this to us. Now, look, here's the dog whistle. This is the Republican dog whistle. Whenever you're talking about the Middle East, if you're going to talk about Obama, you're going to include his middle name every single time. The dumb shit that Donald Trump does, and you guys still wake up every day. People still wake up every day, throw on their MAGA gear, and think this is the guy. This is the guy we think is a good leader. What kind of fucking leadership is that? That's one of the most childish things he's done, and he does not give a single solitary fuck that people are losing their lives, that people in this country have friends in Israel and in Palestine, that they have family in Israel and Palestine, they have roots in Israel and Palestine, and they're hurting. And Donald Trump shows up to somehow say that this is something that is going to happen in our country now because we have you back. Anyways, that's Donald Trump for you. Liberals openly... What the fuck? What the fuck was that comment about liberals in the rear? Do I have a logical thought at all? I would say so. Yeah, let's talk about that. So, remember, it turns out that that Middle East peace deal that everybody was so excited about, turns out that didn't do a goddamn thing now, did it? You know what it did do, though? It got Jared Kushner $2 billion. Remember that? Remember when Trump was trying to create a peace treaty between Israel and Palestine, and he didn't include Palestine? Do you guys remember that? Just it didn't bring him. It's just him and Netanyahu. Yeah, like this is probably what some of these conservatives wanted. It's probably what they wanted. If we get involved, there's a little money. There's a little money going into the military-industrial complex. Oil prices. We're going to hear more about that. Man, here's the cliff notes. Whisper, are you here? I can't. I'll read this out loud. Can I read what you shared out loud? If Whisper's here. I don't know. He is here. Okay, I'm just going to read what Whisper sent me. Again, not an expert. Jewish religion proclaims that God promised Israel to Abraham and that God restored the homeland to Moses, Moses' followers, after their slavery in Egypt. In the 19th century, religion started mixing with politics, and the modern Zionist movement started as England encouraged Jewish immigration back to the Jewish homeland, which was then the British-ruled Palestine. Then in 1948, the United Nations, in an attempt to make amends for the atrocities committed against Jews by the Nazis in World War II, created the State of Israel as a new Jewish nation by partitioning Palestine and quite literally giving it back to the Jewish people. Naturally, the Palestinians didn't appreciate having their homeland taken from them, and surrounding Arab nations joined Palestinian Arabs in opposition. This disagreement turned violent many times, with wars in 56, 67, 73, and 82. Terrorist attacks on Israel and its citizens have continued until today, and support for Israel has contributed to the intense hostility by some Islamic nations such as Iran, Iraq, and Syria toward the United States and its allies for supporting Israel. A long succession of U.S. presidents, including Jimmy Carter, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush, have brokered peace agreements between the Israelis and Palestinians. But it's not just a matter of finding a happy medium or giving back some land to Palestine as a free nation. Both Israelis and Palestinians feel that their homeland was taken from them, and both feel entitled to stay and make claim to the land. Meanwhile, Israel has irrigated and developed a great deal of former Palestinian land, making it far more valuable than it was before 1948. Okay, so there's the baseline. That's as far as I'm really going to go on that. Thank you, Whisper, for that. Appreciate it. And I'll move on to the topic today. Oh, we do have guests in the box already. Great. Ed, what's up, dude? Happy Monday.
Yeah, it's just your old Finnish friend over here.
Yeah, how's things in Finland?
Oh, it's fantastic. How is it over there in the good old U.S. of Trump?
It's warm. Still don't have universal health care. Unfortunately, it's still not here.
How's Miss Julie's 5G going?
We're gonna find out about that today. I talked to Miss Julie yesterday. I'm trying to put those clips together for her, but we'll find out. She seemed like she was in good spirits yesterday when I talked to her.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, that was basically the cliff notes on the Palestinian and Israeli conflict. But people need to understand there's all this taking sides and all this stuff going on. The U.S. probably doesn't have anything to do with this particular issue. It's more than likely something going on with other countries that have much bigger stakes in Israel at this point, such as Japan or other EU countries. Those of you that don't know about Japan and Israeli,
I don't know shit about that. Tell me about it.
Oh yeah, so Japan has been investing heavily in Israel for, I'd say like last 30 years. There's many companies, Japanese companies that are there. They've invested billions upon billions in the conflict itself and taking sides specifically with Israel.
Why are they investing in Israel? What is it infrastructure investing? Where are they putting that money?
Mostly infrastructure, yeah.
Okay.
Mostly infrastructure. It's just a good place to. Unfortunately, Israel is a great place for other countries to invest, and so there's a lot of money markets there. Like I said, Israel over the last 20 years has made the Palestinian real estate that was previously Palestine very, very valuable, extremely valuable. And so there's conflict that has to do with a lot of money, religion, and it's really, really difficult to put an edge on it. But more than likely, this conflict, this particular attack, probably has nothing to do with us. It's just the U.S. being nosy and us thinking we have everything to do with this and we have to choose sides. We really can't. It's not a choose sides situation. No side is really wrong here. This goes back, 30 centuries? So good luck figuring that out. The U.S. is 200 years old, 300 years old. So,
do you think there's any validity to Will brought this up in the Discord, to the theory currently that Russia and Iran are working together? Clearly Iran's involved in this, right? Like there's no way Hamas is doing anything without permission from Iran, correct?
Iran, Iraq, Syria, they're all very, very heavily involved. I mean, it's a conflict nation. Anytime that there's conflict, there's profits. And countries that thrive in war are going to 100% be a part of this conflict.
So do you think there would be like some Russian involvement there? Is there a reason for Russia to be involved?
I don't think Russia really. I mean, me personally, my opinion is probably this isn't a Russia conflict. This is Hamas, and Hamas is backed by a lot of weird organizations, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories about who their ties are and where it goes. It doesn't. There's nothing that's particularly says that, hey, these were Russian rockets that were fired. There's nothing that these were Russian munitions that were fired. There's so many outliers of munitions and so many suppliers of munitions in that area of conflict. It's really hard to put something down pat and solid.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things to where we're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to see what happens, and more than likely, what we're going to see, what our hand is going to be, is Biden's probably going to have a NATO conference, and we're going to attempt to broker peace again. This will be like the 6th time that we've done it. I don't really count Donald Trump's brokerage for peace because nothing was actually signed.
Well, he also didn't bring Palestine into that, right? It was just Israel and him.
Yeah. It was just Israel. It was just, we're making peace in Israel. This is what we're doing. Israel is the country. It was a defining moment where we're like, hey, Israel is the correct country, which was the wrong way to go about it. And so, like I said, I see the Biden administration come through and doing a NATO conference and brokering peace again. Like I said, who knows how long it'll last this time. It'll probably last until the next Republican administration takes over and declares Israel the rightful owner of the land.
Do you have any sense of, Bree asked earlier, where we think what the effect on oil prices would be here for this conflict?
The oil price. My opinion on that is that oil companies are going to do what oil companies are going to do. And so if they see a reason to raise gas prices because they can blame it on a conflict, yeah, that's going to happen. So, yeah, we're probably going to see a raise in it. Has nothing to do with the conflict there. We've got plenty of reserves, as you've already stated plenty of times before, as Tommy has stated many times before, as many other creators. The conflict doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that. It's oil companies being greedy.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for clearing that up, dude. I appreciate it. I've been watching all week, and it's just like, it's so hard to even piece it together because you spend half the time just like fucking devastated. It's like gut punch after gut punch after gut punch. And then you're like, let me get into the nuances of this. You're like, no, I'm just gonna go outside and cry instead. This sucks.
Just cry. Like there's not a lot you can do here. It's really not gonna be one of those things. Like I said, 30 centuries old war. A conflict that involves the entire world. This is not a small conflict. Like I said, there's many countries that are involved here, and so it's the U.S. We probably think we have a lot more to do with it than we do, just because we're arrogant and we have an ego and we have to get our nose in everything. But this could be any country pushing a button.
Terrific. All right. Well, I appreciate it, dude. Thank you.
Yep.
By the way, this is Whisper. Whisper's the one that makes all the gear. He designed this Shushies hat. All of our every bit of our apparel. Whisper's the one that did all the designs for that. So thank you for that. You guys can find the link for that in my bio or my link tree there if you want to find it.
Yeah, if anybody wants to message on the Israel thing too, I've been following this for 21 years. So
you're old as shit, dude. I didn't realize you were that old. That's crazy.
21 years I've been following this, and you
started following it on your 40th birthday, and now 21 years later, here you are.
Oh, Jesus Christ, thanks.
Yeah, dude. Let's see it.
I'm still never going to be a boomer like Bree. You guys have a good one.
Thanks. All right, thanks, dude. All right, Marco's been waiting. Hey, Marco. Hey, Marco. How you doing?
I'm alright, and you?
I'm good. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about why are y'all following Biden? Biden got all the gas prices going down now, and inflation is going down. Why do you want to vote for him for that?
That's a good question. Yeah, why would we ever do that?
I
It's a
don't
good question.
know.
I don't know. We want
Uh,
those. We want that shit to go back up.
yeah, are y'all crazy or what? No, I just got on here just to mess with you all.
I
All
appreciate it.
right, all right, right.
Thanks, Marco. We'll see it.
Yeah.
That's the topic we're going to choose today. MAGA, do you realize you're being weaponized? That's the overwhelming thought that I keep coming back to today. Is after the weekend, you see the violence, and you wonder to yourself, like, how do we get to a point where you have this much violence in Israel and Palestine? Obviously, clearly, I don't know. But I do know this. I do know that there were the people with power, the people with money, the people with influence. They will do what it takes to keep that power and that influence and that money. And you're seeing that now with the right. The right is completely weaponizing MAGA, and I don't know if they even understand it. It's so tiring. I was talking about this weekend with some friends. Like, you look at what's happening in Israel and Palestine, and you realize that here in America, our problems are not like as severe as we think they are. But you're going to be told, if you're MAGA, you're going to be told every single day that they are, that it is the end of the world, that it is a war. How many times do we have to hear war? Right? How many times is MAGA going to tell us we're at war? This is how this happens, folks. This is how you get divided. This is how you come into a violent place where you no longer can view the people on the other side as humans. You see them as subhuman. I mean, it's brutal to watch even just the clips that you're seeing on CNN. Fox, I don't know what Fox is showing. I haven't watched that, but just CNN, you go because you think it's kind of a safer place, and you're seeing clip after clip after clip, and you're just wondering, like, how do you get this way? How do you become a person who is spitting on deceased bodies? How do you become that person? How do you become that person that's like kidnapping innocent people? How do you become that person who's going after children? And you think it's okay? You think it's justified? I don't know how you get to that point. But we're starting to see it in America, and that's a scary thing. That's the scary part about MAGA. When you have a person who is desperate to keep power and will try and keep that power at all costs, this is what you start to see. I just wonder for the MAGA folks that are out there, like, do you recognize that? Do you recognize the weaponization? Do you recognize that you're being played? Do you recognize that you're being used? Do you recognize that you're being sold a bill of angry goods that doesn't check out? Any of that, do you recognize it? Probably not. I'm probably not going to be able to get MAGA to even show up today. Do I? What do you mean, do I? Did you hear me talking about, like, do you see Biden people showing up with flags and T-shirts and going to the Capitol to storm the Capitol? Do you see that? I don't see that. Can you show me an instance of violence where people showed up in a bunch of Biden gear? Does that ever happen? Can you just show me one instance of that ever happening? Hobo Media, welcome. I've never seen it.
No, they wear masks.
Morning.
Good morning. Yeah, you don't see a lot of Biden gear going on the rampage. Usually it's people in masks.
What does that mean?
Like, people will hide themselves to hide their criminality. You see that? Didn't you see a lot of the people at the Capitol wearing masks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also, a lot of those people also had on Trump gear.
But most people, when they attack the federal government, wear masks.
All right. What do you mean most people? Does that happen? Does that happen a lot?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Most people, when they attack the federal government, that doesn't happen a ton.
When you look at the bombing of the Capitol in the 80s, they wore masks. When they attacked the federal buildings in Portland, they wore masks.
Okay.
And so they were kind of, if they were really trying to perform some kind of insurrection on the 6th, January 6th, they would have wore masks. They would have carried guns.
So what were they doing then?
Being stupid.
Yeah, but at whose direction? right?
I mean, that was the stupidest insurrection I ever seen. I
Well,
just think it
what
was.
you couldn't expect a smart one coming out of MAGA. Like the people that were that planned it, the people that staged it, not exactly the best and the brightest. So that makes sense.
Yeah, right. I'm totally MAGA, and I was MAGA before I voted for Trump. So, you
How
know,
could you be MAGA before you voted for Trump? Were you MAGA
well,
since like Reagan when he was doing?
no, I didn't vote for Trump in 16. I voted for him in 2020.
Wait, you voted for? Wait, you voted for him after after the 4 years? You're like, yeah, we need another
Yeah,
4 years of that. Why?
yeah. I mean, as long as you're open-minded to hear why. But
Sure.
yeah, I didn't like him or Hillary in 16. I thought they were both. I didn't trust either one of them, so I didn't
Okay.
vote for either one of them. Okay. I voted for someone else. Okay, so in 20, after seeing what Trump did for 4 years, he earned my vote over Biden.
Why?
Well, for one, I feel that Biden is a corrupt, racist president.
And you're going to point to, I assume, the crime bill and his association with, I forget that
The
guy's
way
name.
he talks, he's always talked like a boomer racist. I've never liked Biden. Do you like Biden?
Yeah.
Like before he became president?
I mean, I'm not like a fan of Biden. I'm fine with him. I think he's done a good job as president.
Yeah, everybody loves Biden who hates Trump, and everybody who loves Trump hates Biden. But I want to know how you really feel about Biden and
I
his
just told
50
you.
years in the Senate.
I just told you. I think he's doing a good job as president.
What did he do in the Senate, though?
I mean, he was. Do you want me to go back and look at his Senate record? I don't know. He
No, you don't. No, you don't got to. I'm just trying to. You asked me why I didn't like him. Why would I possibly
No,
vote
no, no, no.
Trump
I
over
didn't
Biden?
I actually didn't ask that at all. I asked why did you vote for Trump? I didn't say why do you hate
Oh,
Biden.
Trump. Oh, the economy, the lack of
In
regulations, the
2020, the
pro-life
economy was
stance.
completely shut down, right?
Yeah, but
When
he
you
brought it
voted
back.
for him,
If
the
you look
economy.
at it, no, it was. I made a lot of money off of Trump.
What do you mean
Okay.
you made a lot of money off of Trump?
Well, I raised money for the homeless, okay,
Okay.
through investments and such. And under Obama, I made a little bit of money, right? Under Trump, I made a lot of money. Under
Wait, so how do you
Biden, I
get
lost money.
how do you get your money?
Investments,
Okay,
like
so
stock market,
the stock
stock
market's
market.
the stock
Yeah,
if you have left your money like the stock market's at all-time highs right now. What are you talking about then?
stock. Okay, well, it isn't like I just put my money into the stock market, but the
Oh, so you're
uh,
bad at it,
but no, I was okay. To me, I did the same thing under Trump as I did under Biden, right?
which
I
is what?
probably make more money than you
Which
off
is
of
what? What did you
investing,
do?
so I wouldn't try to flex.
Wait, but what did you do?
You buy low, you sell high.
Okay, so
You
then you
do
should
it.
have. Okay, so you should have made way more money under Biden because he came in
No,
like at a huge
no,
dip.
that's not true. That's not true. Like crypto, I
Well,
made money off of
if you're
crypto.
buying low and selling high, that's why I
Oh
said maybe
God.
you're just not good at it. Because if you had bought low under Biden, then you would have made way more than you did under Trump. Because Trump walked into basically like 6.5 straight years of the stock market climbing, and he essentially just like kept on that. All the numbers that Trump had were just like a continuation of Obama. Then obviously you had COVID, you have the crash. So if you're actually buying low and selling high, you would have
Yeah.
made way more money under Biden. Way more.
How high did how far did the stock market or the GDP go up under Trump?
The
He took
GDP?
okay. Yeah, that's kind
That
of
doesn't
where
have any.
the
Wait, so
returns come.
yeah,
Okay,
the highest
whatever.
GDP growth we'd had, it was like 3%, and Trump bragged about it.
Yeah.
Biden,
I was
yeah,
making under.
Biden
Okay,
now has hit over 6%,
okay.
double.
I was making 20% returns per month under Trump.
Well, yeah, listen, I actually think you're full of shit. Because if you're,
Why
or
would
you're
you think I'm full of shit?
or you're bad at it. Well, because you would
People,
have made more
pe-
money under Biden if you were good at this. If you said your strategy was buy low, sell high. You would have made way more money, or much more money under Biden than you would have under Trump. Much more.
Oh, okay, so like crypto is crypto is
Oh, now we're in crypto. I thought you were in the stock market.
that is the stock market, dude.
No, it's not the stock market. The stock
Yeah,
market
you
is
do the
stocks.
same thing.
Crypto is
You
crypto.
do the same thing. It's just a commodity like gold. You have no idea Did your
Wait,
mommy buy
stocks
you
and
that mic?
gold,
Because you have no idea what you're
you're
talking
talking,
about,
no,
dude.
you're talking about currency versus stocks. They're very different.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh my
You
God,
just have
dude.
no idea how to stock. You think like, oh, I'm going to invest in the Dow Jones. Did
You
you know
can
that
do that.
Donald Trump brought the Dow Jones from 20,000 to 30,000? Okay. Biden, he brought the Dow Jones from 30 to 33. It's
So
always
when
the
Trump,
highest with
when
the
Trump,
latest president. But you have no idea what you're talking about, dude.
Trump,
It's
wait,
always
wait, what
gone
are you talking
higher.
about? I know. I said, if
Look
you've
at
ever, dude,
look at the
if you've
percentage.
ever watched my stream ever, if this must be your first time, because what you just said,
Yeah.
I literally say almost every day.
But you somehow think that because Biden's GDP is higher than Trump, that I obviously should
GDP?
have made more
You
money
brought
under
it up.
Biden.
You brought it up, and I didn't say that was a reason why you should have made money.
You don't know. Okay.
I said
So
that we had
maybe
a
if
big.
you
Hold on,
listen,
shush for a
you would
second. Shush
understand.
for a second. Hold on, shush for a second. What I said is, you claimed that what you do is you buy low and you
Yeah.
sell high, and if
Yeah.
you do that and you're good at it, then you would have made more money under Biden. That's all I
No.
said. I didn't say
Yeah,
shit
but
about GDP. I didn't say anything about crypto.
Oh,
You're just
shit,
bouncing
dude.
around, and this is why people don't believe what you're saying right now. They
No,
all
you
think you're
just maybe you
lying.
just listen to Warren Buffett too much. He wants you to hold on to your money.
Bro, I'm talking. I'm responding to you words that you actually just said, and your response to that was maybe you listen to Warren Buffett. Like, just listen to what I say and respond to what I say.
Listen,
If you
don't
if you
understand
if
how
you
to trade. You don't
I don't think.
understand how to
What
trade.
does
You
GDP
trade
mean?
for 5.
What does GDP mean?
You trade. I'm
What
not
does
no,
GDP
You
mean?
trade
What does
for
GDP mean?
5% returns.
What does
I
GDP
trade
mean?
for 20% per
What
month.
does GDP? Well, then you're bad at it because you would have been better off under Biden. You must
No,
suck at it.
dummy. You don't even. You were just another hateful leftist. You
You're
deserve the fits, you stupid fuck.
There we go. There's the angry. Hey, I checked
Dumb
out.
fuck.
I saw some stuff about you. Seems like you're kind of just like
I
an
know.
alt
So
right
maybe you
lunatic.
could quit talking shit, pussy.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna just keep yelling at me?
No, I'm
I'm
laughing at
dude,
you because you don't know what the
at the
fuck
stuff.
you're
I'm
talking
looking at the
about.
stuff that you
You
wear out
don't know what
publicly.
the
You don't
fuck
have
you're
money.
talking
You
about.
don't
Fuck
have
off.
money. What's GDP mean, hobo? What's
I
it
just
mean?
told you.
What does it
Gross
mean?
domestic product.
Okay, and what does it mean? Not what does it stand for. What does it mean?
It's how much how much your country produces.
Okay, gross.
So
means
when
what?
your country produces more, okay, profits tend to go up.
Okay, so if the GDP is higher now, if we had
Oh my
6%,
God, dude.
and that's what
Okay,
you're basing
then
everything
just-
on,
then
over
just for a
3%,
moment, I'll
is
explain to
3% or 6%
I'll
higher?
explain it
Is
to you.
3% or
I'll
6% higher?
explain it to
3%
you. I'll
or
explain
6%?
it to you. Don't
Is
you
3%
sound like
higher
a fool.
or is 6%
You sound like
higher?
a fool. Would
Is
you just
3% higher
Okay, then
or
you don't
is
want to know.
6%
You don't want to
higher?
learn. You don't
Why
want
don't
to
you
learn.
just no,
You don't want to
not
learn.
from you, not from you. You don't
Because
seem to know
you're
what
an
you're
idiot,
talking
dude.
about.
You're
I
an
know.
idiot. You don't
There
know
we
what you're
go.
talking about.
There
dude.
we go. There's the
You
anger.
don't know what you're fucking talking about. Why don't you just shut your mouth for a moment and I'll explain it?
Because I don't want to.
Because you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to be owned.
Well,
I'll
'cause-
own you. If you shut
well,
the fuck up
dude, you've been.
and let
why
me
are you so
answer, I
angry?
would
Hey,
own
calm
your
down.
ass, dude.
Calm down,
I
sweetheart.
would own your ass. I would own your ass.
Sweetheart.
You
calm
buy
down.
low, you sell high.
Well, you're bad
You
at
wait
it,
for
dude.
it to go back to shut the fuck
Then you're
up,
bad at
dude.
it. You're bad at it. You're really, really bad at it. If you are buying low and
You
selling
are
high,
just like every
and you
other
made
leftist,
more money
you think
under
you
Trump,
know everything.
then you're bad
You think
at
you know
this.
everything, and you
Well, I
don't
know
know
more than
anything
you.
about
I know
trading.
more than you.
You don't
That's
know
the
anything
thing.
about market trading. You are an idiot, dude. Your mommy bought you that mic, didn't she?
She did.
She did. I know she
Guess who
did because
bought?
you don't
Guess who
make no
bought me
money.
these Guess who bought me these
You
headphones?
probably work at fucking Wendy's, dude.
Guess who bought me these headphones?
Your mommy?
Your mom.
Oh, that's cool. She always
Yeah.
buys for the jerks that she fucking uses as a sex slave, dude.
Mm-hmm.
She would honestly love to own you right now, but you never shut up, dude. So you want me to explain how you make money on the stock market, or you want to
Yeah.
sit there like
Go
a
ahead. Tell me how you
petulant
make money.
child?
Yeah. Go ahead and
Okay,
tell me
you
how you
don't
make
just
money
leave
on the
it.
stock
You
market.
leave it in the. Shut up. You leave it
No,
in the
thank you.
market if you want the business to profit. All right, you buy
The
it.
business?
Yeah, the
What
business.
business?
The business that you invest in. What do you think
Okay.
you're investing in? A fucking laundromat or a laundry
You
room?
could invest in a laundromat, but probably not on the
Yeah,
stock
yeah, that's
market.
why I had to concede that. But you realize if you could just keep your money in there and make 4% returns,
Mhm.
woo, you could leave your money in the bank and make a 0.5% return.
Yeah, literally
Wow.
everybody
But
knows
if you
this.
are active, so you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Literally
dude.
no, because what you were going to say is that if you're active and you buy
Yeah.
low and you
Yeah.
sell high,
Yeah.
you get 20% returns, which takes us back to the beginning of the conversation
No,
when your
you
dumbass
dummy.
said
No,
that you
you
did better
dummy.
under Trump.
You
But
think
if
it
you
just
bought low
constantly goes
and you
up?
no, you got
You
to
think
shush
that
now.
you-
Sorry, I got to mute you now. If you bought low and sold high, like you said your strategy is, you actually would have made way more money under Biden. So you just fucking suck at it. That's the problem.
No,
Everybody
you
knows
don't.
what you're saying.
No,
No, you're not talking
willing to
over
learn.
anybody's head. You're not doing that. Nobody is confused by what
We
you're
do. This
saying. We're
conversation's over,
confused
dude.
that you somehow made more money under Trump, but you say you're good at this. That's what we're confused about.
Well, then shut the fuck up, and I'll
No,
talk,
thank
but
you.
You don't want to
Makes
listen.
sense.
You don't want to listen.
I
You want to.
don't-
You
I
want to
don't need
control
you-
the narrative, like the
I
Democrats.
don't need you to explain buy low, sell high. We all know what that
You
means.
don't understand
I need
it.
you to explain why if your strategy is buy low, sell high, why are you doing worse under Biden? You had way more opportunities to buy
Oh,
low
God.
and sell high. So please explain why you, the fucking genius, is making less money under Biden.
Because stocks go up and down. They don't just constantly go up.
But you buy low and you sell high.
That's right.
So then why haven't you done better under Biden?
Because the stocks, we're in a bear market now. Do you
No, but
understand
you
that?
had opportunities to buy
hold
low,
on.
and you had opportunities to sell
Do you
high.
understand what a bear market
huge
is?
margins, at huge margins,
I
and you
don't
didn't do
understand.
it.
You
So
guys
could
don't
you explain
understand.
to me one more time how you're so good at this, why you're not making more money under Biden?
Man, get this guy a copy of the firm. Shit.
You, bro, can you answer
Do you
this question?
understand
I'm
the
going to ask
difference
one more
between a
time.
bull market
I'm gonna
and a bear
ask you, I'm going
market?
to ask you one more
Do
time.
you
while
understand? No, you're not answering. You're
Yeah,
just
everybody knows. Everybody knows that. I'm going to ask you
You've
one
been
more
to two
time.
shows,
I'm
come
going to
on,
ask you one more time. If you buy low and sell
Well,
high, why haven't you made more money under Biden? And if you
Because
say a
I
goddamn
just
thing
told
about
you.
Baron
What did I
Bowles,
just say?
then I'm
What did
hanging
I
up.
just say?
Okay, one more time. Without saying Baron Bowles, without asking a question,
okay.
just
Without
answer the
answering that
question.
fucking question. You want me to answer the question without answering the
please.
question?
Please answer the
What a
question in a
dipshit.
way that makes any goddamn sense.
You don't understand bull market versus bear market.
Please. No, I just said. All right, you're too stupid for this. Have a good
Moron,
day.
you're
Yeah, I don't know what to tell it. He's too dumb for this. First of all, there's no way that guy is making money. I'm looking at pictures of him. His shirt is from 40 years ago. His shoes, off-brand shoes, like Mr. Rich guy here, Mr. Rich. If you honestly, if you're in here and you think I just like that he made good points, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I don't know what to tell you if you think he was making good points right there. Oh, he's an actual Proud Boy. Oh, that's why he's stupid. Oh, he's an actual Proud Boy. Okay. All right. Terrific, Proud Boys. Proud of what? What are you proud of? Drop the proud. I would drop the proud if I was a Proud Boy. I just change it to boys. Just change it, maybe little boys. Proud? The hell are you proud of? Honest to God, what could you possibly have to be proud of as a Proud Boy? Hey, Anthony.
Hey, man.
Hey.
It's good to meet you. I just recently subscribed, but I have been following and pay attention to your lives. And this last guy fucking cracks me up, right? So
First of all,
full
thanks for
transparency.
subscribing. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, no, listen. Support those who provide entertainment. That's all I have to say, right?
Yeah.
Now, so for full transparency, I do own a payments consulting business. I've been in the payment space for 25 years, and I also sat on a desk as a foreign currency trader. So
Okay.
I'm here to explain just a couple of things really quick. One, anytime somebody says crypto, they automatically don't understand two things. One is they don't understand that crypto is based on volatility trading models. And two, it's leveraged trading, because most of these ass clowns that get on here do not own an entire digital asset. They own a fraction of asset. Therefore, you have to trade in a leveraged fashion. So you're trading the fractional amount of a security that you own against what's known as a regular order. Right.
Can you explain
so
that?
Yeah, so it's fractional math, right? So let's say that institutional investors, right? So any of the large houses, Fidelity, Putnam, Scudder, Charles Schwab, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, right? When they buy assets, they're buying assets at institutional levels. One, so they get better pricing because they're buying more, right? Two, they're not buying fractions of a share of IBM. They're buying tens of thousands of shares of IBM for or in benefit of the people that have given them money. Right. So
Right.
they're buying in blocks. They're buying large orders in blocks. When you and I buy, right, we can buy regular because we can afford one or two or three or four shares, but we go through a brokerage house to do that trading. Right. When we're buying assets that we can't afford regular sizes, we invest in mutual funds because we want a broad portfolio that adds little bits and pieces of all these different diversified investments, right? Because we're thinking long term, right? And so that's kind of how the different trading styles work, right? Crypto is 100% leveraged because unless you're one of the fortunate people like myself and others that since 2012, 2014, 2017 that were early investors in blockchain and crypto companies, you don't own shit. So I don't want to hear it, right? Because it's a lie, right? Because I worked in Silicon Valley and I was an early investor in some of these companies where I gave them like $2,000 or $3,000, $5,000 until I worked my way up to where I could give like 10, 20, and 30K to help these companies out. Sometimes I lost my ass. I lost it all, right? Sometimes I made money. So law of averaging, right? So I've come out okay, which is why now I have my own company, right? So when people want to talk about, to your point, the whole GDP thing, which really fucking cracks me up, the scale of knowledge one needs to understand to separate macro and microeconomics is beyond just simple book learning, right? You just can't simply read it in a book. You have to be mentored. You have to have people that explain things to you. You need to work at financial institutions to have free tools to understand how this works, right? So that ass clown who was a Proud Boy literally should have been making more money now just by parking money in the beginning of the Biden administration than he could have in toto throughout the Trump administration, right? Because COVID really, even in institutional investors lost money during COVID because the trading was so thin. There wasn't a lot of opportunity to do. He fucking cracked me up with this buy low, sell high. Really? What did you? How many times did you watch Charlie Sheen or Ben Affleck or another actor in one of these movies? Right. The other thing too is if you want to call people out, start talking about classes of investment. Equities equals stocks. Fixed income equals bonds and treasuries, right? So start to call people out and be like, oh, well, what is your portfolio? Are you strictly in the equities market? Are you in the fixed income market? And ask them about the vehicles they invest in. That's how you catch people in a fucking lie.
Got
right?
it. Or I just bring you up and you can take care of it. That's
Or
another
just
option.
bring me up, because what I'll do, and I'll do it in a very polite way without dropping F-bombs. But when I'm laughing, I like to drop F-bombs because listen, it's Indigenous Peoples Day. I don't have to work today, and I'm laughing my ass off watching some lives today. So thank you for making me have an enjoyable Monday. But anyway, just keep doing what you're doing, because in asking these probative questions, you can really start to understand that the people in the cult don't have critical thinking skills. Now, it's no fault of their own. Right? A lot of it has to do with having some form of intellectual curiosity. Do you like to read books? Can you read books? Are you interested in furthering?
Can you read books?
Well, I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a mean way, because I have met people who reading is very difficult for.
Yeah, no, I know.
Right?
But I took it in a mean way.
Yeah, I know. And we can kind of laugh about that, right? Because honestly, like, I'm a nerd. I am a fucking nerd. I am proud of being a nerd. I love mathematics. I love science. I love the art of the payments industry. I love the technology behind blockchain. I don't believe in crypto trading. I think that kind of volatility trading is ridiculous. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose your shirt, and people need to be aware. It doesn't mean that the technology behind crypto isn't fantastic, because it is, and it is the future of how we're going to move money as individuals, as how we're going to pay bills. All that stuff is fantastic because it's secure and safe, right? But at the end of the day, if people can't answer basic questions like, hey, please explain to me how under Trump you made more money, and further to that, I don't know, in the 25 years I've been in the payment space, I have never heard of anyone that invests money to help the homeless. I help the homeless by opening my pocketbook and going to a shelter, or volunteering my time, or donating to an organization that actually helps people. I'm not aware of any trading style or legitimate form of individuals investing to help homeless. That to me is super sketch and sounds like one of these telephone companies that calls and does try to get your money for some veterans organization that turns out to be bullshit, where 90% of the money they raise goes to pay salary, and 10% goes to the VFW, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you 1,000 times for all the entertainment you have provided me.
Thank you, Anthony.
I will continue to watch. You're a super good dude, and anytime you need a nerd, use your lifeline and
I just followed you back. You're phenomenal. Thank you so much.
And ping me. I appreciate you. Thanks, dude.
All right, brother. Be well.
Peace.
See it. Thank you, Anthony. This was are they still in here? Somebody was they're not in here. I had somebody trying to come up after this guy. I don't know if they still wanted to. It was I don't know if you're still here. Let me find the picture. The money match game. I'm really big fan of crypto, apparently, so you can come back up. There you go. First Proud Boy, and I do see some of the Proud Boy friends threatening and trying to dox me in the comments. Appreciate it. Thank you. I can tell you this much: if you want to find my address, if you Google my address, you will not find my current address. You will find an old address in East Mesa. I no longer live in East Mesa. My current address is not under my name for this reason. So you won't find that, but I appreciate it, and I would appreciate that you don't dox the people living at a place where I used to live. That'd be terrific if you did that. If somebody sees somebody doxing, especially for my old address, will you please screenshot that and we'll let the law enforcement know. Luckily for me, when I was a Republican and I live in a very Republican county, I made a lot of Republican friends, including the chief of police and people in the sheriff's department and in the FBI locally. So if you do want to dox me, feel free to use that old address. It will not go well for you. It will not go well. But you won't find my current address. So I appreciate you, Proud Boys. That dude was weird. That dude was just weird. Just inquiry. Welcome.
Hello. I'm just going to keep it real short and sweet.
Sure.
I'm more so confused, and this is going to be off topic based off of what you have behind you or above you, rather.
Sure.
So, was saying that you would have made more money under Biden's administration through the stock market versus Trump. And I watch the charts, but I don't trade. I watch, I can understand kind of where we're heading, right? And so that first, hobo guy, he was saying bull and bear. It's not really either. It's what I would consider a crab market. It's sideways. But under Trump, we have gained in the stock market, because there's different things you can trade. So let's just pick the Dow Jones as an example. We've gone up 102% under Trump, whereas under Biden, it's only gone up 14%. So I guess I don't.
It was how he was saying he was trading, right? That's where it was coming from. He said that the way he made all his money under Trump was buying low and selling high. And I said, then why haven't you made a fortune under Biden? Because you would have. We had massive dips. Like if he would have bought, if we're looking at, I think this is the Dow right now. If we're looking at like October 2022, we were at 33. The low was 33.13, right? Then we had a high of 42.40. Just that. And we've had tons of dips and then peaks and dips and peaks. It hasn't been like this steady trajectory upwards, right? So if his strategy was to buy low and sell high, he would have done very well under Biden if he was good at it. Correct. That's all we were getting at. Yeah.
I understand that point, but I mean, that's the stock market. It has ebbs and flows, under any administration, but the overall.
Yeah, but if you look at during this administration versus the previous administration,
they both had big dips. They both had big dips. You have the COVID dip that you could have bought low. I mean,
right. So and you have the COVID dip, but then when you go from like December of 2021 until now, you saw kind of like this precipitous decline, right? It would drop and then peak and drop and peak, and then we've had it. I mean, if you go on and you look at it like a 10-year graph. And you look at it, it all looks relatively the same, except for you have the COVID dip in March of 2020, then a steady increase, and then since essentially December of 2021, it's been very different than we saw previously, right? Like from December 2021 until now, the graph looks markedly different. There's been lots of opportunities to buy low and sell high. That's the only thing we were getting at, is that like if that's your strategy, then you would have had tons of opportunities under Biden to do that.
I mean,
right?
Yes, I see your point under that as far as what Hobo was saying, but I mean, just as a market together, I mean, again, under Biden, it's only gone up 14%, whereas under Trump, it went up 102%.
I don't know if that's true. I'm looking.
I'm looking at a graph right now.
So Trump takes over in January of 2017, right? So if you go look and you look at January of 2017.
Okay, hold on then. Let me move this. Let me move my line. I was off by a couple of months.
You're at like 2467 roughly. Let's just call it 2467. And then he left in January of 2021. And we were at.
So it's gone up. It's gone up. I had it marked off by two months too short. Or 3 months too short. Or too long. Excuse me. So yeah, it's gone up. It's gone up
more under Biden.
It's gone up 57% under Trump, and it's gone up 14% under Biden.
No. Look, I don't know what the percentages is because I don't have that. But we're talking it went up essentially like 300 points under Trump.
I'm looking at a chart right now. I'm on TradingView, this is where I go every day.
Okay, so you'd have to explain it to me, because if you go January 2021, so you go January 2017 to January 2021, it goes up like 300 points basically.
It went up. I'm not looking at points. I'm looking at the dollar value. So it went from it went up $11,000. So it went from 19.7 all the way up to 31.2.
Okay, so you were on, what are you looking at? You're looking at the Dow or the?
At the Dow.
Okay, I might have been on the S&P.
So it went from, like I said, 19.7 to 31.2. Under Biden, it went from 31.2, obviously, to its high. We're not at the high, so I can't take that number. We're going to go to its current amount, which I'm not even really taking.
Oh, you're going to the high? You're not going total?
What do you mean? I'm going
you have to include all the time that Trump was in office. You can't just take his high.
No, his high is when he left.
January 2021 was the high?
Was his high, yes.
January of 2020.
And then it continued going up under Biden all the way to the all-time high, which was 37-ish.
Okay, so you were at 30 from, okay. And we're 2017.
And so
either way, so you may be right on. So it's 10,000. Biden we're at, yeah. Either way, his strategy was buy low, sell high, right? We're just saying that he had more opportunities under Biden under that strategy, which is exactly what he was saying. Nobody was saying that there wasn't a precipitous increase. Like, we basically saw an increase from 2008 all the way until 2021, right? Like, it just basically went up and up and up, and then you had the COVID dip. But it was pretty consistent in the way that it rose, right? So if you're a trader that all you do is buy low and sell high, you want that volatility, right? You need opportunities to buy low so you can sell high, and he's had plenty of that.
If you're a legitimate trader, you want volatility, correct? But if you're most crypto traders, they buy low and they sell high. And when they say that, they're looking for bear and bull markets. So they go, oh, I'm in a bull. We're at the bottom of the bull. I'm going to buy at the bottom.
So what he was doing is
I don't know how to read the chart to where, I'm not saying me, I'm just talking as if I'm
right. I think you just nailed the disconnect there. What he was talking about is the way that he probably trades crypto, and he was lying, pretending that he traded stocks that way. Nobody believes he was trading stocks, because if that was his strategy, and that probably was his crypto strategy, but if that's his strategy with stocks, then he would have had many more opportunities to do that under Biden. That was the only point.
This is the last piece. He said he bought and sold gold or silver or something of that nature. You can buy and sell gold on the stock market. That is something that you can buy and sell. I mean, I have it in my portfolio right now where I watch it.
But he was talking about stocks, right?
He was. It just depends. They're all kind of intermingled when it comes to buying and selling. You can go to an exchange.
But he was talking about stocks. He wasn't talking about gold.
He did bring up gold. He did.
He might have brought up gold, but what he initially came on to talk about was stocks. Like I think he was trying to go to crypto and go to gold because he knew he was stuck. So I was just keeping him on that one point. Okay. I didn't even listen when he said gold. Didn't even listen. I was just talking about stocks.
Well, my whole point of this is just, be careful with your verbiage, because you say that it's gone up and it might be that there was like a disconnect between you and him, but you did say, and I don't know if this is what you meant, but you did say it's gone up exponentially more, hitting all-time highs under Biden, which part of that is true, but it hasn't gone up more under Biden than it has in Trump.
If I said that, I did not mean to say that. What I would have meant to say is that it hit all-time highs. If I did say that, I misspoke for sure.
Anyways, that's all.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if I did say that or not. If I did, I misspoke. He's right about that. There was money matching game. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I'll also try to keep things short, but I'll kind of make comments on two of the last guests since I've been here, at least. One with the weaponized thing for MAGA people. I do, because I see this all the time. A lot of people's comments about Biden or Trump. Well, number one, people just want to, one guy falls over all the time, and that's why they're less of a better option, which is like a silly thing to say. So we've had a president with polio. Does that make him less of a better option than somebody else who can like run marathons?
Fair enough.
That doesn't make any sense. But to the weaponization of people, including like minorities that are like, you're saying more minorities be like, oh, well, the market was better during Trump or this or that. And I think people need to realize that you have to subtract the market from the presidency. Like the market and the presidency are not like tied together necessarily. Like, yes, you can make foreign policy or make decisions about who you appoint and monetary policy that make a wider impact on the economy. However, for the most part, it's controlled by the Federal Reserve. Like that's not a government entity. Like, the Federal Reserve is not part of the government. Like I think they were part of the Treasury at one point, but they're not part of the government. The Federal Reserve controls the monetary policy of the company or of the country. At the time during the Trump presidency, and you can look this up, everybody who's listening and saying stuff in chat is talking about, oh, so much better during Trump, the market went up more during Trump, is like, look into quantitative easing, look into how much money printing we were doing compared to previous presidencies. We were printing before COVID. So this is before COVID. And then there's something that happened during COVID. Before COVID, we were printing more money than we had ever done in history as a country. So America was already printing more money. Look it up, versus Obama and versus Clinton, more money than ever before. And it was steadily increasing each year of his presidency. We were just printing more and more. And what does that do? For like that causes inflation. It doesn't cause it, and it doesn't cause it immediately. A lot of people just assume they're like, oh, well, you're printing. It doesn't cause immediate inflation. That's not how markets react to things. It takes time for something to happen. And so, yeah, we're printing more money, and then COVID hit, and the market, it's like what you call like a black swan event. The market dips because everybody's fearful, and when people are fearful, they sell off their assets and they go into cash. And so that's what happened. And then what happened after that? Like, so everything is low, and if you're an investor, you're looking at that in a buy low, sell high opportunity, and you buy the market since it's super low. And so people were buying, and they weren't just buying like they normally would. They were buying with free money from the government, because once COVID hit, then we printed that much more money. We printed something like like 3/4 or like it's some ridiculous statistic of like all dollars in history in that short amount of time. It's like an insane, like the statistic is insane, guys. Like if you're like one of these like Trump thumpers and you think he's the reason the market went up, please look up these statistics and learn about the Federal Reserve, because the numbers are crazy. It's crazy. We printed so much money.
It's such a silly thing to do, to tie like a stock market or the economy in general to who is the president. When you look at the actual control, the actual impact that one single person, despite the amount of power, the amount of influence they have, even with that, even as whatever you want to call them, the most powerful person in the world, even with that, it's so limited how much power they have. It's very limited.
Yeah, they could do things like appoint representatives, I forget which specific roles, to the Federal Reserve, so they can appoint people to the Federal Reserve. But even that's like, that's there's only so much they can do. And the Federal Reserve itself is like, like I feel like somewhat corrupt, especially previously. We have Federal Reserve presidents because these are like different banks around the countries that run like different regions of the country. And if you look this up as well, in the last year or so, it's like a year or two, I forgot when I was like reading these articles, we had a bunch of Federal Reserve presidents stepping down from their positions. And why were they stepping down from their positions? Because they were insider trading. These are the people that are making the monetary policy, and they were also insider trading. And when they started to be questioned about it, they started to step down. They would rather step down and retire than answer to these questions in public. And so it's like, and so that's just like to my point, like you are being weaponized. Whether you realize it or not, Trump people, like that's how you're being weaponized. And one thing that Trump would often say when he was in office was he would talk about the Fed, and he talked about the Fed and the monetary policy and this and that. And what a lot of people I feel like didn't realize is he's not even talking about the actual federal government. He's talking about the Federal Reserve, but he's not going to say the Federal Reserve. He's going to say the Fed. So that you think he's talking about Democrats and sows division between you.
He may not know.
You need to educate yourself.
It's possible he doesn't know.
I feel like he knows. He's not I don't think
I'm just saying don't rule it out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. True. You can't totally roll it out, but I don't think he's a stupid person. I think a lot of like, if you're manipulative, chances are you're actually smart. It's smart to know when to conceive how smart you are. And so, like, I think he's one of the most divisive presidents we've ever had, and I think that was all intentional. But yeah, that's definitely a weaponization of things. So I'll get off of that topic, and I really advise all the Trump people that think that the market is due to Trump being such a great president or whatever to look into that. Like, if you got gifted $1,000, like that you didn't need, which a lot of the country and a lot of these people that didn't need that money, they just got gifted a bunch of money. Like, I know millionaires. I'm not a millionaire myself. I'm not like a super wealthy person. I've made decent money in the market, mostly in crypto, which I wanted to speak on next. But I know millionaires that I work for, that I have as friends. And when the Trump presidency thing was coming up, they were like, oh, I'm like talking to them in New York, and they're like, I'm probably going to vote for Trump. And I'm like, that's disgusting to me, because he seems like, first I was like on the line, on the fence, but such an insulting person to other individuals, and so I can't support that type of somebody who treats other people poorly. I don't have friends like that. So I'm asking them, like, well, why would you still support him? They're like, well, he's gonna make me richer. Like, flat out.
Well, look, there's this idea that people who have there's a weird idea that people have that if somebody has money, it automatically makes them smart, right? It automatically makes them informed. It automatically means that they have good opinions. Like, there's in politics especially, it's one of the only topics where everybody thinks that their opinion matters, right? A lot of times, like if we talk about a topic like crypto, for example, I'm not going to be an expert on crypto. For most of the time, I'm going to put in my 2 cents, and I'm going to listen to people who know more than me. Same with the stock market. Politics is that one area where everybody thinks like it's just simple. It's just simple. Mm-hmm. Everybody understands it. They understand how the government works. They're like Republican, Democrat. I'm going to vote for Republican because pro-freedom, or they're small government, and that's as far as I know. But they'll say it with a lot of confidence, and they believe the things that they're saying. So it is funny to me when somebody thinks that, like, oh, this person's made a bunch of money and they're voting for Trump, so therefore vote for Trump. No. You still don't know what you're talking about. I don't think we would have seen any difference had Hillary Clinton been president. I don't think maybe some speculative moves would have been a little different, knowing that she might have pushed for green energy quicker, maybe some taxes. You might have seen some speculative moves and seen like a short dip, just like you do every time a Democrat becomes president. But it always recovers. Mm-hmm. It always comes back.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. The last point that
be quick on crypto, because if we go long on crypto, my Discord might light me on fire.
Yeah, I want to leave it to the MAGA thing and all that, because I really just encourage people to look up all that stuff that I was talking about. Look up the Federal Reserve. A lot of people try to detach that. Look that up. Look up that. Look up quantitative easing. Look up quantitative tightening, which is currently happening, and all the money's being sucked out of the system. They're intentionally raising rates, sucking money out of the system, so that things get more pricey, so that stocks crash, so that people lose their jobs. There's less jobs, so that the market comes back down, so that you get that high and low market that we were talking about, that volatility. Look that stuff up. Don't just like assume things, or that's how I feel about something. But with crypto specifically, to the last guy's thing, I don't really understand his the points he's trying to make about like you only being able to buy fractionalized portions of crypto. And that's how things go, or you have to buy it from certain entities. And this is coming from somebody who actually works in crypto. I've worked in crypto.
He was just saying that most people that are in crypto, because like for most people, what's Bitcoin now? How much is Bitcoin?
Bitcoin like 26,000 today.
Okay,
Something
so
like
like the overwhelming majority of people who own some Bitcoin don't own a single Bitcoin, right? They own parts of Bitcoin. That's all he was saying, is that most people involved in crypto are not buying like an actual Bitcoin, right?
Gotcha. Because I'm like,
I think that's all he was saying.
Okay, because I'm like, even saying that is like, and that's what I figured. But I'm like, even saying that would be like limiting, like to what most people when they speak and they say the word crypto, they're like speaking to a broader set of assets. They're not just speaking to Bitcoin alone. They're speaking to Bitcoin. They're speaking to Ethereum. They're speaking to XRP. If you like XRP, they're speaking to Cardano.
This is what you do, right? This is kind of where you make your money. Is that right? Okay. Can I ask you a question? I don't mean to be disrespectful here. I really don't. But is it for me? I've had crypto at some point. I wasn't great at it. Somebody else was trading it for me. They were okay at it. At some point, I realized that virtually all of it, anything outside of Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of the big coins, is essentially just like whoever has the most money is going to make the most money. You pump it, you dump it. Is there any part of you that's like, man, I'm operating in a completely fraudulent system. I'm operating in a fake market. I'm operating in a manipulated, essentially gambler's market, where if you have the insider information, or you're part of an investment group, or you just have a shit ton of money, you can make a lot. Like Elon Musk, if he wants to make some money, he just tweets out like Doge to the moon, and he just made $10 million if he wants to, whatever his percentage is. Is there any part of you that recognizes that? Is that? I mean, it is a bad system. It is a very easily manipulated system.
Yeah, I'll answer that. So I think that depends on what portion of the market that you're investing in. The same way that you can invest in different portions of the stock market, you can invest in penny stocks, or you can invest in like more traditional blue chip assets. You can invest in the S&P or whatever have you. And so if you're investing in more of these penny stocks type of cryptos, then that's where you're definitely, they have a low market cap. The market can be easily moved and manipulated. That's where that situation that you're referring to is coming in. But in general with crypto, like so yes, like that exists. But in general with crypto, there are also ways that you can just earn money the same way that you would do in traditional finance, with like more so banking measures. And so that's like the way that I earn my money in crypto, is with decentralized finance more specifically.
Oh, okay.
And
gotcha.
so like I'm not
You're more on the lending side of it?
Not just lending, but providing liquidity, being like I work in DeFi specifically mostly. So you can basically, like there's a saying in crypto, be the bank. You can be the bank. And so you can supply money. If you have Bitcoin, you could supply that Bitcoin to a lending exchange, and other people could borrow against that. And there's interest rates that they have to pay you consistently. And so you're just actually holding your Bitcoin, and somebody else is paying you consistent interest rates for you supplying that Bitcoin. And they're paying you back in Bitcoin. And then to the other portion, they could also be that platform might also be paying you in some arbitrary token, which either there you could speculate a little bit more on whether or not that token that they're paying you, as well as an added incentive, has more value to it. But in general, you can make money just by lending and borrowing. You can make money by supplying liquidity. And that's like another way that I like make a lot of my money in cryptocurrency. So I just hold like Ethereum and United States dollars, since I like Ethereum. And you can pair the two together. And when people make trades online or on the blockchain, which is what Ethereum is actually made for, which is what Cardano is actually made for, which is a bunch of these other blockchains are actually made for. When people make trades on those, instead of an entity like Coinbase or like Binance or BitGet or whatever these exchanges are, instead of them making the money, you make the money from the trades. You still hold your crypto. You still have access to your crypto. You can withdraw it at any point in time. And in the meantime, you're earning money for every trade that goes through, that's routed through that. That's what decentralized finance is, and that's how crypto actually works. And like, I don't know, I just haven't bought from an actual like exchange in years, because there's no purpose to. You can earn
Gotcha. What just happened?
pairing it together as liquidity.
Just happened to my picture.
So I'm not,
Did you cut? Can you hear me?
I mean, I can see you. I can see you and I can hear you.
Can you just see like the corner of my face? It's bizarre.
Nope, you're dead center.
All right. Well, on mine it's bad. All right. Well, look, they're gonna kill me if we keep talking about crypto. I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble with my Discord if we keep going crypto. But I appreciate you coming on and talking to me about it. All right, brother. See ya.
For sure.
All right. All right, we're gonna leave crypto just for a minute. I don't know what happened. That was weird on my end. I could only see like the corner of my face. All right, we can go back to not crypto. Discord was not having that at all anymore. I'm seeing Hamas terrorists now threatening to start. Oh, Jesus, it's getting worse. Getting worse. Hey, Reggie. Welcome. Got to meet Reggie on was Saturday night. Reggie is even nicer in person than she is online, so that's terrific. Unless people don't think Reggie's nice. Can you guys not hear me? Is that what we're saying? Dangerous misinformation in here. Somebody really think we're giving out dangerous misinformation? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how weak has Biden made our country? Let's talk about that. What has Biden done to weaken our country? Would you like to tell me about that? I'd be happy to hear about that. But did a pretty good job staying out of Ukraine. Hopefully he does a good job staying out of this as well. We'll see how well he does. Whisper was Whisper was saying he thought he would negotiate. I think that was today. I'm not sure. Let's see what we got with him if Biden's going to meet today. That's what I wanted to talk about today. This could be weird. We maybe chased everybody out with the crypto stuff. Always remember the people blame. This is a good tweet. Always remember the people blaming Biden for Israel attack are the same ones who support a man saying that the people of Charlottesville were fine people. Just remember that. Just remember that. That's a good thing to remember. Did Reggie balance out Hole? Yeah. So look, I'll be honest. Yeah, we'll be honest about Hole. Hole is very nice. Hole is a very nice person, and Hole is not quite as nice as Reggie, but Hole is a very nice person. I'll back Hole on that. He invited me. All these people welcomed me into their home, despite me being kind of an idiot. And we had a good time, and we took of the herbal remedies of the earth, and we talked about some fun things. Saw a coyote up close and personal. Congratulations to those who hadn't seen one. We saw a B-2 bomber, which was wild. It was a good Saturday night. That's a cool thing to see when you're already seeing things. It's pretty cool. But it just flew. There's Boeing's right by where we were at. So we had a B-2 fly over maybe like 8 or 9 o'clock. Hole identified it, which was impressive from a long ways away. I was convinced it was UFO or whatever we're supposed to call it now. I forget what Hillary said we talk about it. So Hole is nice, and I love it. Listen, Hole is not nicer than Reggie. Reggie is the nicest by far. Nobody in the box. I'll jump over to, well, I guess we got Anthony, but I'm going to get Anthony. I'm going to get in trouble if I keep talking finance. So if somebody doesn't get in the box in the next 2 minutes to talk about something else, Anthony's going to talk about finance. So you guys better start poking each other. Get somebody up here. And here's something that was most predictable thing ever is I jumped to Twitter and Nick Fuentes is trending. Shocker that Nick Fuentes would be trending here. Let's go with I would prefer, by the way, opposition. If you're up here just if you don't have a topic, if you're up just to talk, hop out. If you do have a topic, if you're not opposition, I'll take it today because I had a rough weekend as far as getting anything done. I did start watching Schitt's Creek. It's better than I thought. I did not think it was going to be good. It's better than I thought. All right, we're going to go with blessed, or some sort of variation of the word blessed. Oh, that's not coming up. It's funnier than I thought. I thought it was like a network TV show. I have this thing about TV shows where if it's not gonna cuss, then I'm probably not gonna watch it. If it's something that has to be on regular network TV, that most likely I'm not gonna watch it. So I didn't realize that it was a CBC or CBC, and then Netflix bought it. What's up, Clark?
Hey, what's happening?
How are you?
Hey, well, everybody's asking for policies that Trump enacted that were good,
Okay,
and I've got one.
good.
He did pass a bill that supported autistic kids. I looked at the bill. I can't remember the name of it, but it was actually a really good bill. Um,
What did it do specifically?
I was shocked um,
Oh, there it is.
and
The
really
Autism
dumbfounded.
Cares Act.
Yes,
Well,
and
I think a lot of Trump people might be upset about this. You would think,
well, they can be, but it was a good thing
yeah,
for
because that money went to
you
the
know that.
CDC and the NIH, which they are not big fans of.
You know what? I was shocked by it because it was actually something that I couldn't see how he could grift money off of it. So I was shocked that he actually signed it. But I might be missing something on there too. I mean, maybe he put down that
That's a
you
it
know
looks like
it's
it was a Bob Menendez, whose name is not so great now, is the one that sponsored it. It had a
yep
bipartisan sponsorship there, bipartisan pass. Yeah, that was a good bill. It looks like. I don't know much about
yeah.
it, but yeah, there you go.
So and I'm gonna buy my third private plane, so these tax cuts are really gonna help me.
So stupid. So
Um,
stupid. Good for you. Good. I'm
yeah,
glad. I'm glad
but
you're getting that third one.
as a construction worker, I was a union construction worker for 30 years. Um, One of the things that this tax cut thing did that a lot of people don't know about is I used to be able to write off my travel for my work, and I used to be able to write off my hotels because I had a house and then I still had to support myself for my work. And this tax break that he gave to the 1% eliminated our ability to write that stuff off. So it started costing construction workers a phenomenal amount of money just to be on the road. And we're the ones that built America. I mean, we traveled to these different sites because you can't just grab 1,000 guys out of the local economies and expect that they're going to have the skills to build these powerhouses and data centers and all this stuff. So he really hamstrung the union workers because union workers didn't normally get per diem
Gotcha.
because it was all part of our collective bargaining deal. Now the contractors are starting to have to pay per diem, and then they just, of course, they charge it back to the customer. But you got to have cash in your pocket when we went out, and we really stuck together and took care of each other. And now they've got the per diem. It's just another way that the contractor is going to be trying to skimp as much as possible. Whereas
Right.
before that, we all knew what we were going to be paying, and we would write it off.
I was unaware of
So
that. All right. Well,
yeah, that was a horrible,
one.
horrible thing.
I liked that you
Your
did like a
mileage too.
positive and a negative. That was good. I liked that. There was a very balanced call here.
That's what I do.
Nobody can accuse you of not being balanced. I didn't know that. I was
Right.
unaware of that.
Well, no, I've been accused of being unbalanced a whole lot of my life, but usually just by the guys that make me sit on the couch. So,
Well, shit. They don't. What do they know, anyways?
what do they know?
Yeah.
I went to medical school, I went to a party at a medical school,
Same thing.
but
It's the same thing.
same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
brother.
Well, I just
I
wanted to pop
appreciate
in
it.
and point that out. 'Cause
Thanks,
that is
Clark.
the only thing that I saw that he did that was good, and the maggots can't even produce that one. So I thought I'd give him a little helping hand here because
There's a little free food for you. There's a little free food
it's
for you, MAGA.
always good to help
That's
those
right.
that are less fortunate.
That's right. That's right. Hi, Clark. I appreciate it.
All
See
right,
ya.
take care.
Bye. All right, next up. All you have to do is shit. I have not responded to you, Sheila. I'm so sorry. Frodo the freaking Sheila. I'm so sorry. I've been so bad at this. I know. Is this what we're calling about?
You do,
I know. Listen, let me tell you this. I do have somebody that's going to reach out. I had literally had no time
Oh, no,
last
no,
week,
no.
and we were supposed to
No,
have a
RPD.
planning meeting yesterday. But keep in mind,
This is not about Spike Cohen. It's
okay,
not
but do keep your eyes out for a message about that this week. because it's coming.
Awesome.
Okay,
Yay. I'm
appreciate it.
so excited.
Yeah.
No, the reason I hopped on here is just because you weren't getting any opposition and you kind of opened the door for
That's right.
other people.
Welcome.
If there are Trump supporters watching this, I just want to say, please open your eyes, because my family was a victim of the hate that he incited. And it trickles down. If you look at, my word, leadership trickles down, right? Look at Hitler and Nazi Germany, right? You look at things like that and you say, how in the world was this one person able to convince a bunch of Christians to turn in their Jewish neighbors and continue to do so, even though they never saw them again after they were swooped up, right? They continued to do that. How was one person able to spread that kind of hatred and evil? And it's scary when you think about it. It is possible. It has happened before, and it happened to my family as a result of the leadership inciting hate towards one specific group of people. So I would just caution anyone, please open your eyes and just stop believing everything that you're told. Do your own research and just check your heart. Does this stuff feel like love, or does this stuff feel like hate? Does it feel like unity or division? And do the right thing. It would be my only plea. My son was marching against systemic racism when he was gunned down in the street, right in front of his quadruple amputee fiance he'd been taking care of for 10 years, because somebody listened to Donald Trump and responded to Donald Trump and drove his car into a crowd full of protesters, through a red light, didn't even stop. And when my son approached him to tell him to move on, my son was unalived. Just because he was armed. All you 2A people, you want to sit there and say you're pro 2A? My son was practicing his First Amendment rights and his Second Amendment rights, and the President of the United States celebrated his death and unleashed hell onto my family from all of these horrible people. I can show you things, RTP. TikTok will not let me post these photos that people sent me saying this is what your son would have looked like, showing an actual literal dead body on the ground, and horrible, horrible things sent to me, my daughters, my son, my son's fiance. It's been horrible. I don't understand this kind of hate. It's on a different level than I've ever seen, and I'm 53. So I would just say, please, y'all, please think and look and open your eyes.
Yeah, I don't. As always, I'm always speechless when you come. But it's so transparent when you're not in it. I've been in a cult. I know what it's like to not see the stuff that should be transparent, not see the stuff that's directly in front of your face, to learn how to like shield that from your own reality. So I know what that's like, but the amount of hatred, the amount of like the violence, the heroes that are being propped up on the right, the Elon Musk. I was just reading a story earlier today of Elon Musk accusing this kid of being a neo-Schnazi in Oregon. The kid wasn't at this protest. They didn't think he was actually a neo-Schnazi. They found this kid's profile. He was at a baseball game at the time on the other side of the country. Elon Musk and others tweeted out who this person was because they wanted to call it a psyop, and now this kid's life is ruined. He can't go anywhere. His parents, his family, they're all getting threats. Same type of stuff that you're talking about, all because they want everything to be a conspiracy. They're looking for conspiracy. They're looking for psyop in everything that they do. And the truth is, the reason they're looking for that is because what's happening right in front of their face is fucking crazy. And they don't want to admit that maybe, just maybe, the people that they keep putting up are fucking crazy. So instead of saying like, oh, these people are fucking crazy, they're like, I'm just going to believe a bunch of crazy shit instead. I'm going to follow the trail of breadcrumbs down any conspiracy theory path just because what's happening in front of me is too crazy for me to accept that I voted for it. And that's what happens in every cult. When shit hits the fan, the lies, the stories, the narratives, they get crazier. And then the people get angrier because then they think like, oh, it couldn't possibly be us. Everybody is against us, and then you have war. That's what we're staring at right now, and it's even more scary when you see some of the people like Elon Musk, like Rogan, like Jordan Peterson, like Steven Crowder, like Tim Pool, the people who are now being co-opted and using their platform to spread this kind of shit, and it's just leading to more and more anger and more pain.
It's absolutely horrific, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you think about where it could go.
I mean, it went to the place that all of us are. For you, it went to the place that every one of us is like, I hope to God it never visits me. I hope to God it never actually affects me. I hope to God that it's just the shit I see on the news. But for you, it became very, very real. And I can't fathom sitting back and hearing your story. If you haven't heard her story, go look at her TikTok. If you haven't heard this story, think of being a mother. Think of whatever you think about the protests. Just think about that. Confronting somebody who was harming people, and you wind up losing your life because what? You were standing up for people who you felt like were not getting a fair treatment for that in this country. That's what is the reason to lose a life.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what they believe. That's what so many people said, that my son deserved to die just for being out there. And all those same people that were demonizing those protesters in 2020 were applauding the protesters on January 6th. And how do they not see the hypocrisy?
Because, and again, it's because reality is confusing. Reality of what's actually happening right in front of their face is confusing to them. They're like, wait a minute, there's no way I could have been duped like this. So everybody else must be duped. There must be a reason for the people I'm voting for to be crazy.
Is that the title of a movie or a famous saying? I can't remember. It's like, truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, that's just a famous saying, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that facts, right?
Yeah. And it really is.
Yeah.
That's how cults work. That's how it works every time. Every cult I've ever been in, which was just one.
Yeah.
But that's how it works.
I love you, dude. I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
having me on. Thank you,
You bet,
everyone,
bro.
for the gift. I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
I can't see very well. I need to find my glasses, and then
All
I
right.
can
I'll
legitimately
look,
do too.
look for a message from Brizaza this week. She'll reach
Oh
out
my
to
gosh,
you.
I'm so excited. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Can't wait. All right. We'll see you.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right. One of the favorites. Who's going to follow that? Good luck with that. RFK Jr. Interesting polling from RFK Jr. this week as he announces his bid for independent run. It was initially thought that RFK Jr. would be polling votes from Democrats because he had I think he peaked at like 15% in the DNC. New polling is showing that it's likely to pull votes from Trump. So I do want to hear from my Trump people who kept coming on where's Bad Views, who kept showing up saying RFK would win the DNC, which of course he was never going to do. But now, in trying to play spoiler, I think he plays spoiler for the Republicans. Host, you were liberal 3 months ago. Care to explain? I still am liberal. Am I not liberal now? What are you talking about? Yeah. What is that? So anyways, the new polling, I could try and pull it up, but it's showing that he likely would poll, if it was Trump, Biden, and RFK, that those votes would mostly be pulled from Trump. People who are embarrassed to vote for Trump don't want to put their name next to Trump. Remember that if you are an embarrassing person, if you are historically embarrassing, if you're a historic joke, if you are a person who's under multiple federal indictments with really, really great evidence, if you are a person who lies about everything and people outside of your influence can see it, there's likely going to be some people who like what you stand for but don't want to put their name next to yours. I would imagine RFK. I don't think it's like I wouldn't imagine it's a Ross Perot situation, but any votes he can take in a swing state is good for me. It's good for me. I don't know if Sino says it's going to fuck the Dems up. I don't know, like, who in the Democrat Party is voting for RFK? Where's this swatch of people in the Democrat Party that would vote for RFK? I don't think there's a big group of people in the Democrat Party who are anti-vax. I don't think there's a big group that believes in. I mean, his healthcare policy is nonsense. He's like, universal healthcare is the best way, so let's not do that. Let's just take out, or let's just put a few regulations on the healthcare industry. That's it. He's not a serious candidate for Democrats. I'm not sure where that goes. Yeah, he's not really a Democrat. He's just a Kennedy. I think he used that name. Looks like good to see. It's not like we need any of our Pentagon officials right now, and Tommy Tuberville's just going to keep blocking those. That's great. Military appointments in the Middle East are being left unfilled. Nothing going on in the Middle East we need to worry about, though. Hey, that one. How you doing?
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
I think I'm doing fine. I think
Okay.
the ability, well, I just feel like the ability to feel shame is not something that they have, and their response to shame is to double down. Like, I think this is why they can't recognize they're being weaponized. And like it says on your thing that you're X and X, so you're out of two cults.
Yeah.
And on to a new one. But, well, whatever. I could just empathize. And I think what happens when you deconstruct is you don't understand why they can't see it. And we have a tendency to forget how hard it was for us to separate from those ideologies.
No, it's super hard. I agree with what you're saying.
And so I think the amount of work, because it's done, seems lighter for those of us on the other side of some of that stuff. Like it seems like it should be easier. And I think sometimes that's because we forget how much we had to give up.
Yeah.
To get to that point. And I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it puts us in a place of being like, why don't they get it? And like, I don't know. Like, I like to go. I definitely think that our current buffoonery with Donald and all that stuff is just what we deserve for letting Reagan and W run the country. To be honest, it seems like the only way to like have a straight line between that kind of behavior and what we have now in our politics.
Yeah, well, that's where we're at, right? We're seeing the culmination. We're seeing like the real impact and the clear impact of 40 years of trickle-down economics and tax cuts and deregulation. We're seeing that it didn't work. And so now that the Republicans are stuck here, and you can see that what has been going on doesn't work, they have no choice. They can't come in and say, like, we have to cut taxes again, right? We have to deregulate, because most of the country isn't going to buy into that. So what they have to do instead is they have to find ways to blame Democrats, because their policy does not work. We have charts, we have history, we have all the data in the world to say that trickle-down economics, unfortunately, who could have seen this coming? Rich people aren't going to do just the right thing and have that money trickle down. I guess we might have put too much trust in rich people, but Republicans can't say that, and so they then just have to turn this into like demonization, and that's why we're seeing the more militant version of Republicans. Republicans, you had the whole thing with Trump. They called it the silent majority. Well, it's not. It's a very vocal minority now. That's who they've become, and a vocal minority is scary. A silent majority might win an election, but a vocal minority causes real problems.
Well, and the silent majority was a lie in the first place.
Correct.
Like the conservative ideals haven't been in the majority as a populist thing for 50 years.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why they're still so mad. Like all those people that spit on Ruby Bridges, they're just mad that they can't do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of backlash. I think the other, and again, it's what I was talking about with the Christianity and stuff, like in deconstruction, right? It seems obvious that work should be done. But when you're in it and you're handing out chick tracts, you can't see that shit.
Yeah.
You just can't. Like, because you're specific. And another thing is, like, they're specifically prepared to be in conflicts with logic, right? And
yeah, well, you're told to believe something,
confrontation.
right? You're told to trust your feelings, to trust your gut, and then you're conditioned to like feel those things, right? That's why they put music. That's why there's media. That's why these churches now, like they've gone to like the rock band churches, I call them, right? Like it's fun, it's dancing, it's engaging, it's meant to like stir up emotions, because that's the way. You have to feel those powerful things, and you have to believe that they're coming from God, because everything else in front of you doesn't make any sense. So when you learn to trust your gut, to trust your emotions, to trust your feelings, you're much more easily manipulated. But like you said, You don't realize that at the time. At the time, you think you're on this higher path. At the time, you think like, oh, these poor simpletons who just believe what they read, who don't understand like the impact of like what God can put in your soul. When really it's just like, no, it was the drummer. The drummer put that feeling into my soul. That's why I felt what I felt. It had a good beat, and everybody was singing and dancing. Who doesn't have a good time when you're singing and dancing? It doesn't happen.
Well, and so, I'll just be honest with you, man. Like, I still am a registered Republican, and I didn't get in to it because I believe in them. I got into it because being beyond the trust wall makes it easier for you to communicate with people like that. Because that's something I remember from my deconstruction, is that, like, if they trust you as a source, you can tell them that God's not real. If they don't trust you, they won't believe it, even if there's evidence.
Yeah.
And so with conservative mentalities, like, if you are inside, I mean, just look at MTG, or like you got Madam Space Lasers and Madam Beetlejuice.
Space Lasers.
Well, and you got, the Beetlejuice handy girl, like, or whatever. Like it just doesn't matter how good you are, right? Or Glitch McConnell, right? Like, if you're inside the trust wall, then anything they say makes sense, even if it's just absurd.
Yeah.
Absurd. And so I think this is something we miss in our deconstruction, because we stopped accepting quite as many absurd things. I'm not saying everyone who's deconstructing from conservative values or Christianity is, delulu, but I'm saying that, like, as you start piling up these things that make more sense, like the old you of not being able to separate from God we miss that person. We don't really recognize how hard it was for us to get to where we are.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of the reason they don't realize they're weaponized is because they're still wearing the armor of God in their mind. And I don't know what kind of Pentecostal you were involved with.
I was Mormon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, all that armor and swords and shields of God and stuff, that stuff really works. You were talking, like, it traps people in the idea of having to be the sword.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree
and that just adds up to all the other stuff. So anyway, I just think the reason we can't recognize that they're the weapon is because they are being used as the weapon, and they're in it. And this kind of, like, manipulation has been happening a long time. People are all upset about 2025 or whatever, but like the Seven Mountains shit and the New American Century, that stuff is still at work.
Right.
For that matter, COINTELPRO is still functioning. Like, it's not like it was, because it doesn't have to be. And again, I think if we had a populist vote, there just couldn't be any conservative victory. They would have to they'd have to start a minority party.
That'd be devastating. That'd be devastating.
So I just want to put this out here, since you seem like you're somewhere in the middle. I assume you're sort of a Democrat now, but
I think I'm also still a registered Republican. I've gone pretty far left.
I only stay registered because they send me the most ridiculous mail. Like, the mail I get from the Republican Party, all red. Like, all of the text is red in these emails. And I don't know, like, if that's just because they want people riled up. But, like, I get a red letter email from the Republican Party, like, once a month.
Yeah.
About how, like, dire it is.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's why I stay on, because I want to know what's being told to the people inside the loop. Like, the Mike Lindell apologists that is going on in conservative, like it's just all of the stuff that just, like, all of the protection of criminals as, like, their motivation. And, like, I just think that it's because they see themselves as at risk.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
All right, well, thanks for having me on, man. Best of luck with staying a lefty.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's not a very lefty-friendly place, the United States. So
that's all right. I got enough friends. I got 2 or 3 of them.
All right. Peace.
All right, see ya. I see B's in here trying to get people to Parker's Live again. Is that what you're doing in here, B? B's upset that I say shushies to people like they're 2-year-olds. B, sometimes they are like 2-year-olds. You could come up here, or you could hang out in the comments. Box is open, by the way. I'm looking at the impeach Biden now is trending. Why are we impeaching Biden now? Now what do we got? By the way, good guy for good guy Trump. Looks like he may have been sharing some nuclear secrets, sensitive information about nuclear submarines, including like how close they can get to enemy territory without being detected, the exact number of warheads that they routinely carry. Pretty cool. That's pretty cool by Trump. Imagine if Biden had told somebody like where a secret bathroom was in the White House. The Republicans would be just scrambling to get him impeached. Just if there was a secret bathroom, it would be the end of the world. But Trump giving away secrets to it was an Australian billionaire, something Pratt, right? Anthony Pratt. Just giving them out, just bragging about secrets, trying to seem cool. That's what it's weird. Like, it's like he doesn't understand that there are rules to getting classified information. He's just like, now that I'm not president, I can just tell anybody all the cool shit that I learned. And I actually think I weirdly think that works for Trump people too. I actually think that excites them. I think they like the fact that Donald Trump might spill some secrets, because who doesn't want to know secrets? All right, what else is trending here? Box is open for opposition. We've had way too much non-opposition today. So I'm going to open it back up to opposition only if we could. I'm going to clear the box. Thank you, Anthony. Whoops. Fee, I accidentally just invited you, I think. You can skip that if you want. I think I might have just double-clicked that. I apologize. Or I didn't send it. I'm not sure. It did something. Jay. Hey, that's my name. What's up, Jay? Hey, Jay. Hi, Jay. Bye, Jay. It's pretty good. Like, Irie Samurai's going wake and bake this morning. What's up over? What's Newsmax saying? I'm WJ. That's pretty good. Bad views. WJ. The rare W, just the silent W there. Had to check his crypto. Wait, he was talking shit to me in the comments and then showed up and said nothing? Is that what happened? Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. You can't talk shit in the comments and then show up for nothing. Come on. RFK Jr.'s Democrat is a Democrat in independence clothing. Okay, so Democrats talking out against RFK too. Republican Mike Lawler of New York says that the lack of speaker hobbles Israel response. True. Nikki Haley is catching DeSantis in GOP fundraising. I can't believe Ron DeSantis is still running. Is there anybody still on that bandwagon? There can't be anybody that looks at Ron DeSantis and like, that's our guy, right? I'm being told it's looking like Hezbollah is getting involved. I talked about this yesterday. Just the way that the staging around Israel was happening, it looked like Hezbollah was going to be. That's one of the few things I got right. I had guessed about that. Just opposition in the box only right now. I don't see one person in the box. I just want to make sure you're opposition. If not, go ahead and hop on down. It's Highway Jones. Highway Jones, are you opposition here? We can talk RFK if you'd like. Where did Jay go? It might be wild to say only one party is weaponized, but we could talk about it. You could probably show me a way that the left is being weaponized, but that still doesn't mean that the right isn't. Highway Jones, welcome.
Yeah, what's up, man? What's going on?
Hey, just reading some crazy comments. How are you?
Yeah. No, I am a little bit, I guess, opposition. I mean, if you're anti-American, I guess, then I am for sure. But how are we being weaponized? Now, I'd like to know your outtake on this weaponization.
I mean, there's a lot of ways they've been weaponized. I think that January 6th, obviously pretty good indicator of being weaponized. A bunch of people storming the Capitol for no apparent reason.
Yeah, we have enough video evidence on that one to understand how that happened and who infiltrated that process, and who allowed the entry into the
Let's
all
talk
this
about
stuff.
it.
And that's all coming out. So yeah, for
Let's
sure.
talk about. Let's
But
talk
I
about
thought
it.
I was waiting for an actual weaponization. That was not a weaponized. That was a playground compared to what's possible. I'm sure there was no guns at that
Sound,
thing. No, there was no weaponry at that thing.
were
that
there
were that
stores?
were.
Were there stores of guns just outside of DC?
I'm sure there's
Yeah.
always stores somewhere.
No,
But I
not
mean,
not a
what the
store. Not like you go in and you buy a store. I mean, like they had stored weapons,
See,
like
that's
in
never
safe
been,
houses.
yeah, and I've not seen them do any Antifa shit like that. Like usually they'll have, how
Hold
they
on,
stack up
you don't
bricks
wait.
and.
Hold on, you don't know about this?
No, I have never even seen evidence of it. I've heard the rumor, but I've never seen factual pictures or evidence of the stockpile of weapons that was apparently stowed away outside of the
So what
perimeter
about
of
the
anything.
Oath Keepers testifying that happened?
The Oath Keepers themselves, you mean
Mm-hmm.
they had their own weapon stash somewhere? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, meaning because they put their guns somewhere before going into a gun-free zone?
No.
I think that's.
Jason Dolan, who's one of the people who was, he pled guilty to seditious conspiracy, by the way. Guilty to seditious conspiracy. He testified that part of their plan is that they would have weapons stored just outside of DC because of what you said, and if shit got too real, they would have access to those weapons quickly.
Gotcha. No, I wasn't aware of that. And again, I have not even seen one trial be publicized, any type of any way at all, not even audio, which I think is unfair to the public.
Why?
Because I think we should be able to witness these things. If these are in fact domestic terrorists and they are on the MAGA side and they said, yeah, we did this and we did that, then we need to get that out in the open through their actual video testimony. I don't want to hear what the news has to say about it. I don't trust the media anymore,
See,
and neither should
this
you.
is one of those things we were just talking about. How when you're confronted with reality, and this is how you're being weaponized. When
That's
you're
the general
population. I was almost done. When you're confronted with the reality that the side that you're on is literally convicted of seditious conspiracy, that they literally tried to stop an election. When confronted with that, what you would rather do is come up with a conspiracy theory rather than look inward and be like,
No.
what did I get mixed up in? See, when
No,
I
haven't given you a
told you
conspiracy
that,
theory.
well, what do you think happened? Do you think the news just made this up? That this guy just pled guilty to seditious conspiracy and made up this
I'm
claim
not saying
about
they
the
made it up.
weapons?
I said that I think we should be able to have access to the live court hearings. I want to hear them say it. I want to
What?
see their state of mind that they're in, whether they're drugged or whether they're admitting.
Exactly. See, this is
That's
what I'm
what I
saying.
want to see.
You refuse to believe things.
No, I don't. I do not believe
you'll
that.
take
I do
any.
not believe
Okay,
what
so
the
what do
media
you think
tells me.
happened? Why do you think he said this then?
Because obviously he did something wrong. That's what I'm saying. I would like to hear
But
his
no, why?
testimony
So wait, so
live.
why do you think he said that though?
But I can't see his crimes. I can't see what if I go to court, you're allowed to publicly log in and see that via circuit cam. You should still be able to see the federal court hearings of the domestic
That's not the
terrorists.
case all the time. That's not the case all the time.
It should not be a closed court hearing. It's people
Well,
that
whether it should or
violated
it shouldn't,
treason.
see,
It
whether
should be public
it was seditious conspiracy,
executions
not
if they did that
it
stuff.
was seditious conspiracy, not treason. But even then, what you're doing now is you're ignoring the evidence and saying, "I
No,
won't
I'm
believe it if
accepting
I
it.
don't see it with my own eyes."
That's
Well,
what you
I
guys
bet we
say
could-
about everything.
Like
I mean,
what?
are you serious?
Like what?
God.
Like
God.
what?
I can't believe him until I see him. Same
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah.
Same concept.
No,
So my
because show
point
me.
is,
No.
why do you
Show
trust
me the
mainstream
evidence of
media?
God.
Why
You know
do
what I
you
mean?
trust
Like
mainstream?
we have evidence here.
You are
What I
evidence
did.
right
Hold
there.
on.
Look
hold
in the
on.
mirror. You look
Hold
in the
on.
mirror. You're evidence
Hold on.
enough. You're
Hold on.
created and so
Hold on.
special in the universe.
Hold on.
Okay.
So we have evidence of January 6th happening. We watched it. We have
Yeah,
testimony.
we have a lot of
from.
evidence of Antifa even
I
being
wasn't
there as
quite
well.
done, Highway Jones. You can respond when I'm done. We have
Okay.
evidence of that. We have these people who are testifying to what they did. They are pleading guilty to crimes, and you're like, no, I'm just not going to believe it. This is how you're being weaponized.
I'm not saying I don't
You've
believe
been
it.
told to
You're
not
twisting
believe
what
the
I
media.
said. I said I would like to be able to have access to these hearings. I'm not saying the guy didn't plead guilty. I believe he did because obviously he's sitting in jail for 20
Okay, so then
years.
so then do you believe that they had brought in weapons?
If they testified that they stashed weapons, then yes. If that's in his testimony.
So from the beginning of this,
Absolutely.
when you said like, oh, we all know what happened. We've seen
So
everything that happened.
DC is a gun-free zones.
Hold
They
on, just let
literally
me
have
finish. Hey,
storage
Highway
facilities.
Jones,
You can
Highway
put
Jones,
your weapons in.
Hold on, just hear me out. At the beginning of this, when you said that like all this evidence is coming out, we know the truth. And then I brought out something that was true. You're like, no, there were no weapons. And now we've agreed that there are. Is it possible?
I did not say that. Will you please play back your own? I did not say it.
You
I
can't
didn't
play it
believe
back.
it.
You can't.
I
play
said
it
I
back.
haven't
You know
seen
that.
any evidence. Yes, you can after the fact. I haven't seen.
Sure.
I haven't seen any evidence. Is all I said. I didn't say I didn't believe, man.
Okay,
I
so
haven't seen any of the pictures. Where's the pictures of the stockpile of weapons? Where, if he testified, where's his written testimony?
Wait,
Where's
why would
that
there be?
at?
Wait, why would there be pictures?
Because usually people are taking pictures. If they apparently had it somewhere, usually
Wait.
they'll even fuck up and take pictures of their own stockpile. I
So,
guarantee you
so
some idiot
there
did
just
it.
has to be a picture. There's no way there's not pictures. That's what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there has to
See
be
what I mean?
evidence without. You can't convict someone of something without evidence.
You can if they admit to it.
If one guy says, yes, I stashed my weapons outside of this,
Well,
he speaks on behalf of the entire population of MAGA
No, well,
supporters? No.
the reason he pled guilty is because they got access to their text messages where they were planning it, right?
Yeah, and by the way, anybody in the Oath Keepers has to be military.
And part of
Anybody
that,
has to be ex-military. You
and
cannot
part of
just
the-
join
and-
the Oath Keepers.
Can I finish? And part of that would show like the text messages planning on what to do with weapons, right? Now you got to look at like, okay, now let's talk about the actual speech at the Ellipse. Now Donald Trump, who had obviously he had bulletproof glass in front of him, he was safe. They had metal detectors, and they were searching people as they came in for his speech. He
requested 10,000 troops.
I wasn't done, Highway Jones. This is crazy, dude. Just stay on subject. He said, no, just let them in. And they said, well, what if they have weapons? He said, that's okay. They won't hurt me.
Okay.
Do you know that happened?
Yeah, no. I
You didn't know that
watched
one
the
either?
whole. I didn't know he said that either. Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's,
So why
that's
do you
funny.
think
So,
he
first
wasn't
of all,
worried?
no weapons,
so why do
no
you think
weapons
he
were there.
wasn't worried about that
Not
then?
one pistol was confiscated from
Yeah.
any single person.
Yeah,
Not
because
one.
because they said no, Mr. President. We're
Ooh, it
still
was
gonna.
such an insurrection.
And
We
they
had no
said,
weapons.
and they said no, Mr. President. Like we're not going to allow that.
Man. Yeah, well, see, and for just a moment, he had requested, and this is documented through the Pentagon,
talk about it.
not through our mainstream media, through Pentagon.gov. You can go search and find his request for 10,000 troops in Washington, D.C. the day of. And Pelosi, literally, you can find her document where she rejected them from coming.
Nope,
Saying that it would
didn't
create
happen.
panic. I have the
no,
go to Pentagon.gov. Everybody in the chat, go to
So this is
Pentagon.gov and find it.
shush. Nancy Pelosi has no authority over the National Guard in
She
any
overrides. Yes, she does.
hold on in any scenario. The National Guard in every state is under the direction of the governor. D.C. is not a state, so it's federal. So that goes up to Donald Trump, and at the time, it was acting Secretary of Defense Chris Miller. Now, the letter that you're talking about from Chris Miller, where you said it was Donald Trump, there was a letter issued by Chris Miller on January 4th, 2 days prior. What he said is, without my subsequent personal authorization. So the only person, he sent this out to everybody, the only person who can activate the Guard is me. Without my subsequent personal authorization, the D.C. National Guard is not authorized the following: to be issued weapons, ammunition, bayonets, batons, or ballistic protection equipment such as helmets and body armor. They could not interact physically with protesters except when necessary in self-defense or defense of others. They could not employ any riot gear or riot control agents. They could not share equipment with law enforcement agencies. They could not use intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets to conduct incident awareness and assessment activities, to employ helicopters or any other air assets, to conduct searches, seizures, arrests, or other similar direct law enforcement activity, to seek support from any non-National Guard units. He crippled them. Donald Trump crippled the National Guard and said there's only one person that can activate them, and it's Christopher Miller, the acting Secretary of Defense. I don't know how you became so misinformed where you think Nancy Pelosi could possibly activate the DC National Guard. But if
She didn't activate. She denied.
But if that's the case,
Denied.
then why do we have Nancy Pelosi on video calling Mike Pence, begging him to activate the National Guard?
He
If
doesn't
she had
have
the
the
authority,
authority
why
either.
is she begging Mike Pence?
See, look, I mean, that's funny. Listen,
No,
the
why?
contradiction-
Why
the
is she doing
contradiction
that?
You just laid out there. You said no one but the governor of D.C. has the right
Hey,
to
you
activate.
potato, there is no
But you
governor
said
of
they
D.C. You didn't even
called-
listen to that.
Not DC,
There is no
whatever it is,
governor of
whatever the
D.C.
process. You said
Wait,
somebody had to
Highway
activate
Jones,
it.
I'm going to explain it again to
I'm
you because
sorry,
you missed.
Secretary of State. Yeah, that's right. Chief
No,
Miller.
not
Yeah.
Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
the president
and the
overrides
Secretary,
him. The president of
the
the United
Secretary
States
of Defense
overrides
reports.
him when it comes
Correct.
to the National
The
Guard.
Secretary of Defense reports directly to who?
The president of the United States.
Correct. So when nobody could get a hold of Trump, Nancy Pelosi called the second most powerful person, Mike Pence, and said, "Can you do something about this? Please, we need help." If she had the authority to bring in the National Guard, why is she begging Mike Pence to do something?
Man, you're going to have to go and look at her authorities that she had under the right,
She
and you can
doesn't
see
have
the
it.
document. You can see the letter she
Give me your
submitted,
link.
and
Give me
she
your source.
refused.
Give me your source.
Pentagon.gov. Search it yourself. The refusal letter for Nancy Pelosi. It's all on Google for everybody to read. She refused the National Guard that day, and we all seen the buses
let me
of
ask a question.
Antifa
Let me ask
brought
a question.
in. We don't wear
Hold
masks.
on,
as
hold on.
truckers
Stay.
and
No
bust windows.
gish
I'll let
galloping.
you fucking
No
talk,
gish
and you're
galloping.
not
Oh,
gonna
I don't
let
give
me
a
talk.
fuck. This is mine. We're gonna go point by point. You don't get to name a whole bunch of shit right now. So right now we're gonna look at the. Yeah, this is how normal people talk. You don't just
No, this
list
is how
like 50 fucking
liberals
things.
shut down facts. You guys
No,
fucking
yeah, we
overtalk,
make you go
and then
one
you
by
ultimately
one.
mute
One
us, and then
by
you kick us
one.
off your fucking lives.
Well, because you can't go
you're
one by
fucking
one.
brainwashed.
Wait, calm down. I'm asking you simply to go point by point and not list off 50 points, and you're getting upset. It's such a rational thing. Okay, there is no Pelosi refusal letter on the Pentagon. I'm looking at it. Pentagon.gov. Where's this letter? Yeah, he just runs. Just runs. He just runs. All right, it's been fact checked. This is from Ryan McCarthy, Secretary of Army under Donald Trump, on the National Guard response to timing coordination with other states. During a rapidly evolving situation Wednesday, January 6th, the Department of Defense was fielding uncoordinated calls from hundreds of elected officials requesting and offering assistance to respond to the unprecedented breach of the Capitol building. The Army and the D.C. National Guard were coordinating with federal Capitol Police and local D.C. Metro Police to assist with an immediate response. Secretary McCarthy first spoke to Governor Hogan at 4:40, where he thanked Governor Hogan's offer to provide support. Secretary McCarthy thanked Governor Hogan for his support and assured him his service members will be taken care of and provided to point contact. All right, that told me nothing. Why did that say that was? Okay, these were Trump's words. I definitely gave the number 10,000 National Guardsmen and said, I think you should have 10,000 National Guard ready. They took that number. From what I understand, they gave it to the people at the Capitol, which is controlled by Pelosi. And I heard they rejected it because they didn't think it would look good. He just heard. This is the whole thing? That's the claim? The Speaker of the House doesn't even have the power to block an order from the Commander-in-Chief. The Speaker of the House has no authority to block an order from the Commander-in-Chief. Like, what are you talking about? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're being weaponized. They just feed you full of shit. You show up, you say dumb stuff, and then when you're asked to go one by one, you gotta run. You gotta run.
Yeah, that dude took off running like a track star. But RT, I wanted to ask you real quick because you're more. I'm sorry, excuse me. You're more well read on these things than I am, and I was wondering. He was talking about. I've already found the information I need on Nancy Pelosi. I know she didn't have any authority. I've always asked if this were to happen last week. Do you think Kevin McCarthy has the same authority? And they're like, no, he doesn't. Well, then what makes you think Nancy Pelosi did? But I wanted to ask you real quick, because I said you're more well-read on these things than I am. is there any place we can go that you know of? Because I've looked and I haven't been able to find it, to where we can find some of the transcripts of the court hearings of the January 6th Capitol riots?
Of the specific rioters?
Well, the specific rioters, but more to the point, because these are all federal trials, so we know we're not going to be able to see them on TV. For someone to sit there and say, "Well, I want to know if they were drugged," that's just a stupid cop out. But I would rather sit there and read the transcript, so I don't have someone's voice in the back of my head telling me this is what he said, this is what she said. Do you know of any place where we could go and find those transcripts? Because I have no clue if if they've even released the transcripts.
I think you would go to the Department of Justice for that. I don't know that I haven't read any of the transcripts. None of them have really been disputed, so I've never had a reason to go read them. I've never seen anybody dispute the stuff that was coming out of the court cases. So
Gotcha.
I've never had a reason to go fact check. So I don't know the answer to that question. Does anybody in Discord know? I'll ask in there. Yeah, it was justice.gov.
Justice. I'm
What
sorry,
is
did you
this?
say justice.gov?
Yeah. Um, I mean, this is the case against Trump. So you can go to justice.gov. It's U.S. versus Trump 23.
Okay.
You can look that one up. But I don't know if they have them for the individual cases. I honestly have never looked. Generally speaking, I'll only go look if there's some sort of contention on what was said. So I've
Right.
never seen any of it contended.
Yeah, and I'm of the same mindset. There's never really been any dispute on any of these January 6 rioters and what they said at their sentencing. But I'd like to get more, not necessarily more context, because look, they pled guilty. They knew what the hell they were doing. And I love how Joe Biden's taking away all of our rights before he was even inaugurated. And then they went and did this on January 6th, and then all of their rights got taken away by a judge. So,
I'm seeing select committee. Yeah, I don't see anything for the transcripts for the cases. Sorry, I wasn't actually listening to what you just said. I was reading something. Say that again. I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's all right, man. It's all right. No, I was just saying how, before Joe Biden was even inaugurated, they were sitting there screaming about how their rights were being taken away. And then they went and stormed the Capitol and did what they did. And then now all of their rights have been taken away. The only right that they have now is the right to remain silent. That's it. And so many of them have, they waived that right at sentencing, like with Terrio, he allegedly said, please don't take my 40s away from me. And I'm just like, dude, you need to learn math because you got sentenced to 22 years. That's your 40s and your 50s.
Yeah.
So you need to learn math. And
Yeah,
for
it's
that,
tough to be a piece of shit.
it is. It's hard these days, isn't it? But
Yeah.
that other guy was talking about there needs to be evidence. We have video evidence through the January 6th committee of them stashing weapons in a hotel room just across the river from D.C., and then basically being in contact with people of Trump's administration saying, we're here when you need us, let us know, we're standing by. So they were fully prepared to bring in more weapons.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. These people who try to defend January 6th, I don't know where their mindset is at, but it makes me very sad for two reasons. One, not only do these people get to vote, but they also get to procreate. And that to me is just really sad. So, RT,
Yeah.
I'm not
You
gonna
probably
take
can't do much about that.
Yeah.
Well, you go see a doctor. That
This
cop
is true,
sounded
sir. Oh,
soft.
believe me, I have about 50 million doctors. If you ever get on universal health care again, I'll definitely be back for that one because I'd
We'll
love
be
to show
there.
you something sometime.
All right,
But
cool. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and get back at it,
All right,
man. I
brother.
think you're doing a great job. Keep up the
Appreciate
great
it.
work, and I'm gonna always keep listening. Thanks, man, for having
All right,
me up.
brother.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you, brother.
Be well. Bye.
You too. Be good. Be safe out there.
All right. Next up was Biden for retirement. That's not bad. That's a pretty good name, actually. That's pretty clever. Welcome. That's a clever name. I got to give you credit for that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Do you know what an Executive Order 10030 is?
I can pull it up.
I think you should.
Which one was it? What'd you say the number was?
10030.
I feel like, did we cover this the other day? Oh shit, let me pull this up here.
Something a lot of people get confused when it comes to the National Guard in D.C. since it's not a state.
Okay, I've got it pulled up. This is from
Harry
the
Truman.
President signed this in 49. Okay, Truman. Cool.
What does it say? Who has control over the National Guard?
The Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, DOD, Department of Defense, Pentagon. Is that the president?
I didn't. Were you here just barely when I read the letter from the Secretary of Defense? Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah,
the president, he couldn't authorize the D.C. or the National Guard in D.C.
Right.
Neither could Mike Pence. He was consulted. He wasn't authorizing it.
Right.
Miller authorized it.
Who?
Chris Miller.
Yeah.
So it wasn't everybody blaming Trump for not acting appropriately or fast enough. He couldn't have done anything anyways.
We weren't blaming
Pentagon
it.
refused to.
We weren't blaming anything. That person
send...
said that person said Nancy Pelosi rejected it, and I said it came from Chris Miller, who directly reports to the president. Now, if the president said to Chris Miller, "Do this," Chris Miller's going to do it, right?
No.
No, he's not. Oh, okay, Chris Miller.
No,
was
he was advised to fill out orders on January 3rd, 2021.
Fourth,
That's what
right?
President Trump said. Yeah, Chris Miller testified saying that Trump did ask him to fill out orders to protect the protesters.
So what are you getting at?
Trump did ask. He didn't ask for a specific number, but he asked for whatever D.C. Bauer, the mayor Bauer of D.C. she had, requested.
Yeah, but we weren't talking about that. Nobody's disputing that. What we're saying is that. By the way, when everybody got together, Chris Miller, and I can't remember who he was with, when everybody's trying to figure out whether or not to activate the Guard or if they wanted to, Chris Miller went and met with somebody else instead. I can't remember who it was. I'd have to pull that up. But the point was, he said Nancy Pelosi rejected the order, and I was just explaining to him that Nancy Pelosi in no way, shape, or form has authorization to reject that order or to make that order. She had nothing. And obviously you've read this, so you know that too.
I mean, technically they do have some leeway, but Mitch McConnell is just as much responsible as Nancy Pelosi is.
But then, if you keep going, like if you read the second part of this executive order, the Secretary of Defense shall, at such times as may be appropriate, submit to the President's recommendations with respect to the appointment of the Commanding General and Adjunct General.
Yeah. And who is the Commanding General?
I don't know who the Commanding General is. Who's the Commanding
They
General?
all rejected it because they didn't want to put. It was the scope of the view of putting National Guard with January 6 protesters and people thinking it was a militia to overthrow the government. That's why the Pentagon rejected the request to send National Guard.
Okay. But
so
again,
it wasn't Trump's duty or responsibility. He couldn't do anything.
Well, he could have done something. He absolutely could have called Chris Miller. He absolutely could have called Chris Miller.
It says it right here in this executive order that the president has nothing. He can make recommendations. That's it. And he did in January 3rd, 2021.
No. The Secretary of Defense is authorized and directed to supervise and control on behalf of the president.
Yeah.
Who's he directed by?
He's on behalf of the president.
Who's he directed by?
Himself.
Authorized and directed to supervise
on
and control.
behalf of the president. So he
directed
makes the
by who?
Himself.
Directed by who?
Himself.
No.
It's on behalf of the president.
No, you're absolutely misreading this. You're misreading this executive order. What this executive order is saying is that the president is giving this ability for the Secretary of Defense to act without a direct order from the president.
Right.
It's not alleviating the president of their authority.
Yeah, but President Trump, President Biden, they have no authority.
Yes, they do. They do. An executive order does not.
What's the authority they have?
They are the commander-in-chief.
What's the federal statute?
They are the commander-in-chief.
Great.
They appoint these positions. What are you talking about?
So who has control to authorize National Guard troops? Did Trump have control to authorize National Guard troops in 2020?
Through the Secretary of Defense that he appointed.
Did Trump
yes.
authorize the National Guard troops in 2020?
I have no idea.
Well, maybe you should look into that. If you
No,
think
but
he has so much
it doesn't
power.
matter. It doesn't matter.
It does matter because
you're
the
misreading
National
the
Guard
executive.
troops
No,
were
no, 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 no.
deployed in 2020.
You're misreading what this executive order is doing.
No, you're just trying to find an excuse with some words and play some games.
No,
That's what you
I'm
do.
reading the executive order, and now you're getting upset. Do you think an
Because
executive
Chris
order?
Miller
Wait, hold on.
failed
Do you
to
think Harry
release
Truman was?
troops.
Hold on. Do you think Harry Truman was able to just, with the stroke of a pen, just change like who has responsibility for the National Guard? You think with executive order you can just be like, oh, the National Guard is now under the Secretary of Defense? No, he's authorizing the Secretary of Defense to act. That's it. It doesn't mean that the president. It does not mean that the president is not the commander in chief.
Fill the orders to protect the protesters and their right to protest, and they refuse to fill those orders. Whose fault is that?
Well, I'd say it's both of them.
Oh,
right?
Fuck.
Ah, fuck.
How is it the president's fault
He's
when
the
he
commander in
said fill
chief,
the
dude.
orders, and Chris Miller fails to fill the orders?
He's the command. First of all, I don't know. We don't know what was said. We know what was testified of. But no matter what was said and what wasn't said, like show me when Donald Trump said, "Give me 10,000 troops," and show me when
I just said
hold on,
that you
one more
cannot
thing.
verify the 10,000 troops.
Fair enough. Okay, so now show me when Donald Trump said, "Send the troops in to protect the Capitol," and it was rejected
on January 6th
by Chris Miller.
There's no transcripts on January 6th.
Oh.
But I'm telling you, on January 3rd, he had asked and told him to fill the orders, or whatever orders that D.C. Mayor Bowser had to protect the protesters in the Capitol Hill.
Okay, and
Chris
then
Miller already testified under oath from that.
And then we just read the letter. He basically said, "Go, you can be there, but you can't do shit." Right?
Yeah,
he stripped them of their ability to do anything, to do any sort of riot control, to do any sort of arrest, to do anything other than defend themselves if they were attacked.
Host? Why
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm telling you, this stuff right here, they're painting the narrative that Trump did nothing. He did nothing to protect the protesters. He didn't submit a request. He didn't say nothing.
No, he did the.
You're saying that's correct, but I'm telling you from the secretary, right? The one who's in control of it on behalf of the president refused to fill the orders.
It doesn't matter. The president still is the commander in chief. The president can override that. What the fuck are you talking about? You think that the Secretary of Defense can tell the president, fuck off?
Why did the Pentagon reject?
Wait, do you think that? Do you think that if the president asks for the National Guard to be authorized and for the National Guard to go into D.C., you think the Secretary of Defense, for some reason, has more power than the president here? The commander in chief?
Because they work on behalf of the Pentagon. If the Pentagon says no, Chris Miller's going to say, well, sorry, my hands are tied.
Chris Miller was the acting Secretary of Defense. He reports directly to the president, the commander in chief.
To the Pentagon as well. Do you forget he just doesn't work for the Pentagon?
The
Pentagon refused.
I get it. This is your deep state shit. That's what this is?
The deep state shit? Do you want me to read the testimony?
That's what this is? Is that what this is? Is this deep state?
Let's see. Pentagon.
So, you know that the Secretary of Defense is like literally the principal defense policy advisor to the president. That's why he appoints him, right? The Secretary of Defense reports directly to the President of the United States. He's his number one. He's his right-hand man. He gets to appoint him. He gets to appoint the Secretary of Defense.
General Milley's statement?
I'm talking, dude. I'm talking. He gets to appoint the Secretary of Defense who reports directly to him. Dude, this is government 101. How do you not know this?
How do you not know this? You didn't even know about this executive order, but yet you want to turn it around.
I didn't know about that executive order. You're right. I didn't. And then I read the executive order, and it doesn't say what you're saying.
You didn't do enough.
It doesn't say what you're saying. I understand that like some Facebook post told you that this was like proof, but then you read it and it's not proof of anything.
Refusal with evidence. What do you call that?
Who does the Secretary of Defense report to?
Who does he report
to? Look it up.
Many
Google
people.
it. No, Google it real quick. Google it. You guys can all Google it while we're waiting for Biden for retirement to Google it. It's just from the defense.gov. The Secretary of Defense oversees the Defense Department and acts as the principal defense policy maker and advisor. Advisor to who? Advisor to who? Advisor to who? Advisor to who? Did you fall asleep?
Let's see. What does the Secretary of Defense do? It says presides over the entire Department of Defense and functions as a principal defense policymaker and advisor, reporting directly to the President of the United States. Importantly,
there we go. And that's an L for you. You can stop right there.
And advises the President and Congress on which programs to recommend.
Read it again. Who does he?
The corresponding budgetary
read it again.
recommendations.
Read it again. Who does
Secretary of Defense ranks 6 from the U.S. presidential line of succession behind the Vice President, Speaker of the House of Representatives, President pro tempore, and Senate, and the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Treasury.
Who did Chris Miller report to?
They're the sixth in line.
Who did they report to? Read it again. Who did they report to? Nobody's talking about who's in line. Read it again.
Behind the Vice President.
Read it again, Chief. Read it again, Chief. Oh my God, you're running from this. Read it again. Who you just read? Who they report to?
So if he acts,
say it again. Say it again, Chief. Say it again.
The president, then why
say it again.
No,
I want you to read it again. I don't care about your opinion. I want you to read it again.
Care about my opinion.
I would like you to read what you said again.
Read it. Read it.
I'm not on the. We're not in the same place, dude. You're wherever the fuck you are, and I'm over here. I don't know what you're reading, dude.
Read it.
Read it again. Oh my God. This is sad, dude. Now you're embarrassed, so you won't read it again. It's up in front of you. Have a little bit of integrity. Have just like a little integrity.
Of the United States, reporting directly to the President of the United States. So if Trump says fill the orders, do whatever is necessary, and Chris Miller testifies under oath saying that's what he told him to do, and he refused to do it, whose fault is it?
Exactly. So if
whose fault is it, host? Whose fault?
If
the president says do something
and
he refuses to do something, oh, what's wrong? You're running from it?
No, I'm not. Running from it? No, I'm going to ask you a question.
Fucking answer it.
Yeah, that would be on Chris Miller. That would be on Chris Miller. But now here's my second question. I'm going to ask. I know you are very flustered right now. So if Chris Miller is to be directed by the president, then who had the authority on January 6th to bring in the National Guard?
January 3rd to do it. Who refused to do
no,
so.
but on January 6th, who had it? Who had the authority?
He had the authority on
January 3rd. All right, I got to mute you because you won't shut the fuck up. Who had the authority on January 6th, not 3rd, 4th, 5th? Who had the authority on that day to call in the National Guard?
Trump did.
There we go. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you
swing and a miss for you there, huh, pal? Swing and a miss for you, huh, pal?
Trump had refused.
Swing and a miss there, pal.
Trump had said to Chris Miller to fill all orders, and Chris Miller refused. But yeah, you want to point to January 6th like he can just somehow flip a switch and present 10,000 troops to the Capitol Hill? Do you know how long
he could have at least tried. He could have tried something. He could have tried something.
How long do you think it takes for 10,000 troops to organize and assemble to Capitol Hill? 3 hours?
He could have tried something. Anything would have been better than nothing. You're so desperate. You're so desperate to defend Trump that you're leaving out the part that this is the guy that Trump. This is the guy that Trump. This is the guy that Trump put in charge. Trump put this guy in charge. It's another example of either Trump hiring the stupidest possible people or Trump using everybody else to take the heat when he doesn't do what he's supposed to. And I think it's the latter, and you think it's the former, and that's fine. We can disagree. Wait. We can disagree. Wait. We can disagree on whether or not Trump wanted National Guard troops there. We can disagree on that. There's not going to be a way for us to come to a consensus here. But one of two things only one of two things happened. Either this guy is corrupt, and Trump didn't know that when he appointed him, or Trump was like, I want him there because he's corrupt, right? It's one of those two things. And if this guy's so corrupt, where's the outrage? Where's the calls from President Trump?
He
Where's the
got
calls from?
fired.
I wasn't done. Where's the calls from all these people saying like, "Hey, let's investigate Chris Miller"? Why are Republicans not bringing up Chris Miller? Why are Republicans not bringing up Chris Miller and putting him on the stand? Why?
Who was not allowed on the January 6th committee? Tell me, what political party is on January 6th committee?
There were Republicans and Democrats on the January 6th committee. Try again.
The ones who wanted to ask questions, like Jim Jordan, was
yeah,
not
because
allowed
Jim
to...
Jordan was a person that was being investigated by the committee, so it makes no fucking sense to put that guy on the committee. And then the Republicans are like, oh, we don't want to do this if we can't put the people that are being investigated on the committee, and then they ran. And a couple brave Republicans were like, you know what? We're going to do the right thing, and we're going to stay here, and we're going to investigate it, and we're going to be the Republicans on this committee. So yeah, sorry that Jim Jordan, who was part of this and who was being investigated wasn't allowed to be on the committee. Sorry about that.
Charged?
I said being investigated, didn't I?
I know, but did he get charged?
I said being investigated.
When whether
you're charged or not, if you're being investigated, you shouldn't be doing the investigating. That makes no sense.
So
yes,
coming to a conclusion that
if a police officer is being investigated for something that they do,
not Chris
you don't.
Miller in the Pentagon.
No, hold on. If you have somebody who is being investigated, you don't have that person investigate themselves ever in any scenario.
Jim Jordan wasn't going to investigate himself. He was going to investigate
exactly.
Chris Miller.
That's why he wasn't on there. That's why he didn't get to be on the committee, because he wouldn't have investigated himself. Good point.
I just said that he wasn't going to investigate himself. He would have investigated Chris Miller. Why didn't they question Chris Miller, or why he didn't refute, or why he didn't?
The Republicans have all the time in the world. The Republicans could be doing this right now. They could be bringing Chris Miller up on charges right now. You want to blame everybody.
When they
but
if
this is a true story, if what you're saying is real, the Republicans have all the ability in the world to bring him before Congress right now.
When they subpoenaed for the people that were there, the private security, whoever was protecting Trump or the Nancy Pelosi, whatever they were protecting, why were the texts deleted and why they refused to subpoena?
By the way, Chris Miller did meet with the January 6th committee.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm telling you. He testified. He even said in that committee that, yes, Trump did ask me to fill the order, but with the scope of the events, they didn't want to because people thought it was going to be an armed militia to take down the government.
Who cares?
What do you mean, who cares? That's a big part of this.
Big part of what?
If they're refusing to fill the order on January 3rd that Trump had approved of this and he wanted people there to protect the protesters.
So did Trump miss then the January 4th letter from Chris Miller? Did Trump just check out? He ordered it on January 3rd. Then Christopher Miller put out this letter. I'm asking you, let me finish the fucking question, dude.
Holy shit.
So when Chris Miller put out the letter on January 4th saying, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have people stationed outside, but they're not going to be able to do anything. Did Trump just miss? Let me finish.
For
did
traffic
Trump just,
control.
Let me finish. So did Trump just miss that?
What does he have to do? If Trump gave orders to Chris Miller on January 3rd, and on January 4th he presents a letter saying this is what we're going to do. We're going to have National Guard do traffic control. That's it. They're not armed.
It doesn't say traffic control. What are you talking about?
Yes, it does.
It does. I just read it. It doesn't say traffic control.
The only duty was for traffic control. Either it was the Capitol Hill Police or it was the National Guard. That was their only duty, was crowd control and directing traffic around D.C.
Wait a minute.
That's it.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Direct quote from Chris Miller. I was never given any direction or order or knew of any plans of that nature when asked about an order for 10,000 troops. There was no direct. There was no order from the president. We obviously had plans for activating more folks, but that was not anything more than contingency planning. There was no official message, traffic, or anything of that nature. You're lying about what Christopher Miller said. You little liar. I just believed you the whole time, and everything you've been saying is bullshit. He's literally saying there was no order. Why did you lie about that?
Here.
No, answer the question. Why did you lie about that?
You're reading a different part of the committee, what he testified under. You're not reading the whole thing where he said he did get asked to fill the order.
So he changed his mind later?
No, this is prior to him testifying.
You just said he said it to the committee.
He did. He said what you just said to the committee, making Trump look like he's the guilty person here, saying he never asked him to fill an order.
So, wait. So how do we know there was an order?
Oh, my God.
Miller's saying there wasn't when Miller's testifying in front of January 6th committee, he's saying there was no order. This is why I say you've been weaponized. You heard something. You came on.
guys
You
believe
repeated
every
it. You gave me.
headline,
I wasn't
every
done,
headline.
dude. Don't go silent for 30 seconds and then only start talking when I start talking. If you have something to say,
Go
I'll
ahead,
give you
I'll
plenty
mute.
of time.
Go ahead.
If this is why I say you're weaponized. You come up with an executive order that somehow you think means that Donald Trump couldn't have made an order. And then I'm like, no, that's not what it means. We go through that. You say that he doesn't report to Trump. We fix that. No, he does report to Trump. Then you say he took an order for Trump, but he didn't feel it. And I just take that at face value. And then I go through and I find his actual quote. And it turns out that he says the exact opposite of what you're saying. This is why I say you're being weaponized. You have people lying straight to your face, and you're showing up on TikTok with your whole chest defending this guy. Why do you think so much of what you said is wrong? You're muted. I didn't mute you, but you're muted.
Yeah, I just didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, you know, when I looked at Chris Miller and why he testified the way he did, and I found other evidence to contradict his own words under oath, threat of perjury, everything
Like
that
what?
he said he was being honest. I will give him that. But he didn't include the evidence where Trump requested or at least asked him to fill all orders to protect the people that were protesting.
What?
Right?
Do you have evidence of that Trump did that?
Let's see. There's a video out there of him being asked a question by one of the senators. Let's see if I can find it. It might take me a minute.
I'm guessing it was there was a quote that I just read. I could probably pull it up what he was talking about. Was it specifically about the 10,000?
No, not the 10,000. Because that 10,000 came from a tweet, and that's misinformation. I don't believe that. That's why I do my research. But let's see here.
But do you think so here's while you're looking for that,
Here
I
it
would just
is.
say that
It's
go ahead.
52 seconds long, and it's by Reuters, so that's valid, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I got to roll up my window. Hear this. Hang on one second.
While you're pulling that up, why do you think Trump chose a specific number and that wasn't true?
All right, hang on.
Oh, go ahead. I can't hear it.
We had a meeting with President Trump on the 3rd of January concerning some international threats, and at the very end, there were any requests for National Guard support, and I informed him of Mayor Bowser's request.
Mr. Miller, to clarify that point, did you tell the president about the mayor's request, or did President Trump ask if there were requests?
He asked if there were requests.
What was the president's response to you with regard to the request made by Mayor Bowser?
Fill it and do whatever was necessary to protect the demonstrators and that were executing their constitutionally protected rights.
Whoa. Okay.
Can I play it again?
No. He wanted the National Guard to protect the demonstrators.
The protesters, exactly what I was saying.
The ones that were attacking Capitol Police?
If they were protecting the protesters, they would have never attacked the Capitol Police.
Hold on. Wait, what?
You want to play it again?
No, I heard what it said. What did the protesters need protection from?
Their right to protest peacefully.
Oh, they had that right to protest up until
Just like they did on
wait,
just like they
hold
did
on.
in the summer of
Hold on,
2020.
wait,
They
dude,
had the
you
right
don't
to
have to cut
protest.
me
They
off every
protected their
time.
right to protest.
Every time I'm in the middle of the sentence, you don't have to cut me off. You can
Well, you
wait
don't
till
let
the
me
end.
finish.
You did finish, and then I was talking. You stopped. So you're saying that their right to protest includes like pushing through barricades and trying to break down the doors and the windows? Is that part of their right to protest?
Can I answer?
Yes, I'm asking you a question.
So if they had National Guard there to protect the barriers, the zones that they weren't supposed to be entering, they would have never done that if they had the right support, the amount of people that were authorized. You laughing, but did people break the barrier in the summer of 2020?
No,
did people breach the Capitol?
In when?
In summer of 2020, when all people were rightfully protesting, after George Floyd got unalived, did people break into the Capitol?
No.
Because they had the guards there protecting the protesters' right to protest and peaceful assembly.
Sure. So I guess Trump
So
should have
why
been
are
prepared.
why are you making it seem like people on the right side of the aisle wanted to break into the Capitol?
No, because those people, again, those National Guards people were not there to protect the protesters. They were there to protect the Capitol.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
So I'm very confused by this. Trump was saying we need to protect the protesters? From what?
Yes.
From
Why
what?
not?
From themselves?
What do you mean from from bad actors, from people that want to break into the Capitol Hill?
From themselves pushing through barricades, going and attacking Capitol Police, breaking the doors down, breaking the windows, breaking into the chamber, breaking into offices, and defiling our Capitol. Yeah, that.
Yeah,
if they would have just stayed at the barriers, nothing would have happened.
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe if they had the right
me
amount of people protecting the barriers and protecting the Capitol Hill, none of this would ever happened.
Sure, it's everybody's fault but Trump. Trump knew, by the way, Trump and everybody knew that there were reports that people were planning violence. Trump knew this. If Trump didn't know this, like he just didn't listen. And his thought was, let's make sure we protect the protesters. They did nothing to stop this. And that's fine. That's fine if you don't want to lay it on Trump's feet. I wasn't even laying it on Trump's feet. But you showed up because somebody was saying it was Nancy Pelosi's fault, which we both agree it wasn't. So we can agree to disagree on what Trump wanted to do or what Trump's intent was. But what we can't do is claim this was anybody's fault on the left.
That's what you're saying. You can't
show me one piece of evidence.
On
Show me a piece of evidence that says it was something that the left did.
Something that the left did. Like I said, it's equally as responsible as Nancy Pelosi.
No, show me evidence. Don't equate it to something else. Show me some evidence. I said show me some evidence that what the left did.
Show you evidence of what? I just played you a clip and you completely denied that Chris Miller ever said this. You said I was saying false information in the deep state.
No. First of all, in that clip that you played, he did not. He still didn't say that Trump ordered National Guard troops to be there. He said work with the D.C. mayor.
No.
Yes, that's what your clip said. He's talking about
fulfilled the order
from the D.C. mayor.
Yes. And what did he do?
That's what I just said.
He didn't fill the fucking order from anybody.
Okay, well maybe Trump should hire better people. I don't know.
Oh my God, maybe people should do their jobs.
Well, he's still the commander, including the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief's job is to hire good people around them to make sure that we're prepared for things like this. And in any scenario, in any business, in any organization, the buck should stop at the top. You guys shouldn't. You guys never blame Trump for anything. Everything is somebody else's fault. If Christopher Miller is such a piece of garbage, then maybe Trump shouldn't have hired Christopher Miller.
Oh my God.
Right?
So it's an issue when Trump fires people he doesn't like, but when he hires people that you don't like and he doesn't fire them,
you don't like him. You don't like Christopher Miller.
What do you mean I don't like him because he lied and you guys are believing him?
Wait, what did he lie about?
Saying that Trump never ordered anything.
He didn't order anything.
But he asked him to fill the orders that D.C. Mayor Barr had.
Exactly. He didn't order anything. Oh my God,
is that not a direction to say, hey, do this?
Yeah, but if you order the hold on, calm down. If Trump ordered the National Guard to be there, there would be no listen to the mayor, work with them. Trump knew this stuff. Trump knew that these people were coming. Trump could have ordered the National Guard to be there. And while he sat there and watched it and didn't take calls, and from all reports, he was sitting there just laughing. He seemed to enjoy this. He didn't do anything to stop any of this.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
To paint the picture that Trump's a dictator.
He did nothing, but
do nothing to protect the people.
He did nothing to protect the people. That's correct. Not a goddamn
and Chris
thing.
Miller failed to do his job.
Correct,
and that's Trump's fault.
Correct. Chris Miller also sucked. And my opinion is probably that Chris Miller and Donald Trump both knew what they were doing, and they wanted this to happen, which is why Donald Trump is saying, let's pardon all of these people.
Yeah.
Why does Trump, if it was no big deal, if Trump didn't like it, why does he want to pardon them all?
What do you mean? Why doesn't he want to pardon?
Why does he want to pardon all the January 6th people?
Brain.
He has said this out loud, you potato.
Right. Well, people have been pardoned for all sorts of things.
I'm asking why, if Donald Trump thinks this was a bad thing,
you're comparing Trump to only one president that's pardoned people that committed riots.
Yes, I'm asking you a question about Donald Trump, and you're obfuscating because you guys can't answer questions about Donald Trump. So why why, if he was so opposed to this, if he was so worried about safety, why does he then want to pardon all these people?
I don't know. Maybe it feels like they're being unjustly treated.
For what? For breaking into
What
the
do you mean
Capitol?
for what? For rioting, for protesting, for breaking in the Capitol?
so you
I don't know. For
Exactly.
being not tried without a fair trial? I
Now,
don't
this
know.
is the same. This is the same guy that when we were talking about the protesters that you were talking about earlier, when the National Guard was there. This is the same guy that multiple people have said, like, why don't we just shoot him in the leg? Same guy.
What?
He wanted to shoot
Okay.
He wanted to shoot
What-
the
what are you
peaceful
trying to do
protesters.
here, host?
He wanted to shoot the peaceful protesters in the leg, but he wants to go ahead and take the violent protesters and pardon them.
Okay. Well, what do you
Okay.
want to do here? Do you want to just keep comparing, the quotes?
No,
that
I
Trump
no,
keeps
I
saying?
want you. No, now you're running. You're running from
I'm not running.
anything
I'm right
specific. You're
here.
like, well, what about
I'm
other
right
presidents?
here.
Give me one example of another time a bunch of people with the president's name written all over their shirt and carrying flags showed up to any building, any government building, and tried to break in. I'll wait.
No, you're right. There is
So,
none.
so what am I supposed to compare it to then?
You acting like the president pardoning people who committed riots or getting charged on riot charges is the first time a president has ever.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's
But
kind of.
you're acting surprised, like it's happening.
I'm saying that, like, it's weird that you want to say, like, oh well, the president really cared. He was gonna protect the Capitol, but Chris Miller screwed up. And then when all these people who came in and committed these crimes go to jail, now he's like, I'm going to pardon them. He opened his rally with a song they were singing. He called them heroes. At the RNC convention, they had like these cages and they had fake January 6 people in there. It was a photo op. Like, you guys you're just
3 years, you
fascists and you
guys.
don't even know.
Fascist.
Fascist. Fascist.
Is that what you guys do to opposition? Just call
No,
them fascist?
what I do to opposition is
We're
I
just
take
fascist. You just said that out of your mouth.
What I
You're
do to
just
opposition.
fascist.
No, I'll explain why I called you a fascist. I'll get there. What I do to opposition is I go point by point, and at the end they start going, well, so what do you want to do about it? And then I say you're a fascist. That's what. So first,
that's what you do to
I
shut
take you
down
apart point by
oppositions.
point, and then at the end I call you a fascist.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I
cute.
did.
You want to know who else did that in the past?
I don't know who else did that in the past.
You're so smart. Tell me who. What
Did
political
what?
leader suppressed their opposition?
What do you
Calling
mean? Who
them
got
fascists.
suppressed? Who's being suppressed? You've been here the whole time. I've let you speak.
I've been here the
You're
whole
not
time,
suppressed.
but you get
Calling
so
you a name
upset
is-
when I
Calling
interrupt
you a
you.
name is suppression. You child. You snowflake.
You child. Oh, you're
like,
fascist.
You're being called
You're a
names.
bad
Cry
guy.
about.
You're
Cope some more.
fascist.
Cry about it some more.
You're fascist.
You're not. You called me names. Do you know what other political leaders have called people names to suppress them? No, I think you're a fascist. That's not even a name. I actually think
Fascist.
you're just supporting fascism.
I'm supporting fascism.
Yes.
Well, I'm allowing you to talk here.
No, by
Did I call
supporting
you a
Donald Trump.
fascist?
No, by
By
supporting
supporting
Donald Trump.
I'm a fascist, but I'm allowing
No,
you
I
to
said you're
talk.
supporting fascism. Get the
Okay.
words right.
I'm allowing to agree with you, but I'm a fascist. That makes no fucking
You're
sense.
allowing to agree with me?
Yeah, I'm allowing myself to agree with you, but yet I'm a fascist.
Agree with me on what?
I just agreed with you just as much as Nancy Pelosi is responsible, Mitch McConnell is responsible.
Nobody
And
thinks
we agreed
Nancy
on that.
Pelosi. Nobody believes
And we
either
agreed
of those
on
are
that.
responsible. What?
You
We
just
never
said
talked about
earlier,
that.
I hope when you replay this, when you're going to bed tonight, that you
Yeah.
realize that you agreed with me and you agreed with the fascist.
Agreed with what?
You agreed with me earlier just as much responsibility as Nancy Pelosi has or had, Mitch McConnell had. You said it in your own words. So you agreed with the fascist.
Yeah, well, guess what? You can agree with things that fascists say,
there you
but that
go.
was my
So maybe
point.
you got a little
I
bit of
think
fascism in you.
you agreed with me. I was the one saying Nancy Pelosi had nothing to do with it. That was my initial point. Dude, you're bad at this. You're like honestly bad at this. You are now trying to like save face and get out of here with like the weirdest fucking arguments, and now you're doing this.
I haven't left. I
Yeah,
haven't left.
yeah. Like, dude, you got dusted. You don't know what you're talking about, and you.
This
you
is
came
all
up
you.
and
This
you
is all you
shared-
guys do.
You shared like fake.
You do
I
this
know. I
for
know. I
dog
know.
walking
I know.
people, that's it.
I know.
That's it.
I know.
That's all
Well,
you
come
do.
up with better arguments, dude. You won't
Better
get dog walked.
arguments. You claim that Trump never ordered anybody to fill anything.
Correct.
To protect the
It
people,
looks
to
like he
protect the
didn't.
Capitol.
He
I play
didn't.
you a 52-second clip from Reuters. Now you just turn that around on Trump, saying, "Well, Trump should have fired him. Trump should have hired somebody better."
Yeah. It's his job.
It's his job. Yeah.
Yeah, his job as commander in chief is to protect our country. Yeah.
And when people who get hired by the commander in chief fail to do their job, it's still Trump's fault. Oh, Trump's
Well, Trump didn't
fascist,
ever
you're
fill.
fascist.
Trump didn't ever fill an order. He just said, "Fill an order." But he knew this shit was coming. Trump could have Trump didn't need the mayor of D.C. Trump could have got his intelligence and said, "Oh shit, there's going to be a problem. Let's get the National Guard there." But you wouldn't ever dare blame Trump, would you? No, we wouldn't do that. You just got to pin it on Chris Miller. You could put it on somebody else, but not Trump. He doesn't do anything wrong. He's so perfect. It's just that everything around him goes to shit because of everybody else, not him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Everything's going to shit under Trump. Is Trump still?
He's under four indictments.
Great.
He was held civilly
Fantastic.
liable for rape. He's going to lose this one in New York. He's losing all of his money. He's an actual criminal, and you're just like, I'm going to show up and
criminal
defend
that's never
Trump
been
today.
convicted.
He will
right?
be. He probably will be. I'll say probably will be.
Probably.
Yeah. And by the way, he's been civilly found liable many, many times. He's definitely
Right.
broken the law many times.
So as
You
many
don't
other
care.
people. Yeah, great.
So
I mean, hold them
people.
accountable. Great.
What crimes has Biden been held civilly
Republicans are
responsible for?
fascists because they support Trump.
What crime has Biden been held civilly responsible for? How about let's go to
I didn't
Obama?
say Biden.
How
Did
about
I
let's
say
go to
Biden?
let's
I
go to
didn't say
Clinton?
Obama.
Let's go to Jimmy Carter. How far
Didn't
back
say
down the
Clinton.
road do you have to go? What's your argument here? Well, it's okay if I support a criminal. That's your argument? Your argument is I support criminals because other people have broken laws too.
No.
Okay, then what's your argument? Then why'd you say that?
My argument is I support people's innocence until proven guilty. Court of law. That's what it is.
Yeah. All right, dude.
Yeah,
I appreciate the
yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
Have
yeah.
a good one, man.
Yeah. Okay.
See ya. Do I have to do it? I guess I'll have to do it. There we go. I like it. I like the end of that when there's nothing left to say, and it just becomes ad hom. That was enjoyable. Opposition only, please, in the box if we could. What are we at? 12 o'clock. If you're not opposition, can you just drop out of the box real quick? Thank you. Miss Julie, I do see you. Let me take maybe one more, and then I'll bring you up. I gotta get some lip gloss. Thank you. Oh, it's not stressful. It's not stressful. You get used to it after a while. Ernie Van something. Ernie Van something. Ernie Van Spence, welcome. Did I say lip gloss? Lip balm. What's up, Ernie? They already did. Yeah, they said somebody said lip gloss. LOL. Hey, could you mute and unmute? They're saying they can't hear you. No, I can hear you. No, I can hear you great. Just mute and unmute. That usually takes care of it. Thank you for I got the lip glosses popping.
Is that
Try it
better?
again.
Can you hear me?
Check.
Check, mic
Check.
check.
Can you hear now? Let's see. Yep, you're all good. All right, start over.
Perfect. All right. Like I was saying, as a conservative Republican, a lot of these megas, okay, because I'm not a mega. I voted for Trump because of the policies. I didn't vote for Trump to become a mega head, okay? I didn't.
Okay.
Right. I'm still have op against you, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But let me state the obvious, though. When it comes down to it, it's the racism, the in the closet people that are scared to say it out loud. And I call them on it every single fucking time. And I'm tired of these people that are on your chat right now that disagree with you. But I guarantee, just like the other guy, you will tear them down to shreds verbatim. And they don't like that because when you start calling them out, they'll start pivoting. Okay. And if you're going to come up here and debate on this man's channel, he's got 1.6 people watching, not only him, but you as well. You don't want to get dismantled on 1.6 because then you got to delete your TikTok, set your phone on fire, and go buy a new one. You don't want to do that. So well, now we got that out of the way.
I appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just the facts, man. Because, sometimes I wish I could take my vote back and just either give it to Kanye West or some other independent or something. Maybe that vote might have counted. Who knows? But needless to say, on 1.6, I have several videos. I wish I could play them right now, but I blew through my damn hotspot like a fucking kid on steroids. So, but that being said, there are several videos that show the guards outside opening the gates for people to come in.
Mhm.
There are also videos that show peaceful people inside the Capitol just taking pictures and all that. But the psychopaths that were charging in like a bunch of maniacs were confused about what Trump was stating, or maybe soaked in too much of what Trump was saying, because they call people like you and many other people that have Trump like deranged syndrome or whatever. And what happened was Antifa was there too, but people are
So,
kind of
so
people are
I would
accountable.
say I would just say a couple things to be careful of, because you do get flagged sometimes for misinformation. So just for your own account, be careful of that.
What do you mean?
Well, yeah, I've never seen any evidence that says Antifa was there.
There's
I've
been
seen what
pictures,
people
bro.
I've seen what people have said.
No, there's pictures of the four men that are standing next to each other that all been proven. They've been at Portland. They've been at what was the other place? Seattle during the whole whatever the heck that thing that was going on.
How were they proven?
Because the tattoos on their arms and also their actual hands themselves.
So their hands,
Like the
tattoos and
tattoos that they
hands.
had, an actual facial image like of who they are. Basically, there's a picture of four of them standing next to each other, and then that other guy, that African American that was there, the black guy, the little short dude, that like was walking away, and the news reporter was like interviewing him as like he was running away from the 1-6 when all that stuff was going down. I forgot his name, but he was there as well. But needless to
Yeah,
say,
like I'm looking at this. Let's see, where's this fact check one? You're talking about the you don't have the names. You're talking about somebody that was at protest, right? Or somebody that was in Portland as well.
yeah, they had the tattoo imaging, also their face. It's like facial recognition. They had four dudes. They were all in the Capitol, standing next to each other. One was holding an American flag, and then they were all wearing like really weird, like protection outfits and stuff like that and whatnot. I don't know how to explain it to you. I wish, again, if I could get to maybe I can. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can do it. Hold on.
Don't no, please don't, please, because I think it's gonna flag me as misinformation. So please do not post that. There's nothing. The only thing we really have is that is a grainy image of the hands and saying like that means this person was in Portland. There's no real evidence of that. That person, I think, has been, at least they were on the FBI website as people they wanted information on. I'm sure they've got that information. I don't know.
You brought the FBI up. I'm glad you did that. So what about? Okay, so you said something about Trump about to be indicted. Right now, he's being indicted, but nothing's been found guilty. There's nothing like that's really been proven except for what's being said on the news and what's been popping up.
Well, hold on. So keep in mind that with these indictments, they collected all this information, and then they took this information before a jury, and the jury voted like, yeah, there's plenty of evidence here for a case. So like we at least know that it's not like made up stuff. It's good evidence. It was good
It took
enough
them
that
2
they got a
years to get
case.
that, though. You realize that, right? Like they
Yeah,
kept going back.
Yeah, it takes a long time to gather evidence. That's how. Remember when didn't they just catch the person who shot Tupac? Like sometimes it takes time.
Wow, that's not bring that up because that's a very touchy subject right now.
It's not that touchy, dude. Like here's the thing, and I'm just gonna stop you right there. Like when I say, and you agree that people are being weaponized, this is how you're being weaponized. You are choosing to believe the craziest possible story rather than the like very, very easy to follow story right in front of you. The easy story to find right in front of you is that Donald Trump lost the election, lied about it for a long time, held a rally on the same day that they were going to, like, why did he hold a rally the same day that Congress was going to vote on certifying the election? And then he told everybody to walk down to the Capitol. And then those people walked down to the Capitol, and many of them have pled guilty. Many of them have said, most have said like they were there because they wanted to fight for President Trump. And then they broke into the Capitol and they did what they did. And now there's also people on the outskirts that were convicted, and some of them pled guilty to seditious conspiracy, to actually conspiring to stop that vote. These court cases, there's so many of them, and there's so much evidence that it's overwhelming, and you're choosing to believe the dumb shit. And this is what happens. This is what conspiracy theories are all about. They're all about making you feel like you know more than everybody else. It makes you feel smart. No,
that's why I came up here.
That's the whole point, right? when you think about the evidence you just presented me, it's a grainy photo that you can't prove. And all it would prove, even if what you said was proof, all it would prove is there were 4 people there from Antifa. It would not negate the fact that all that other stuff happened. It would not negate the fact that all these people have pled guilty and admitted that they were there because they thought the election was stolen and they wanted the process to stop. It would negate it wouldn't negate all the people screaming hang Mike Pence. It wouldn't negate all the people saying to hang Nancy Pelosi. It wouldn't negate all the people that were beating the shit out of cops. There is a narrative that played out on live TV right in front of us, and it's so easy to follow step by step. And instead of just saying like, oh my God, like maybe our whole party got duped. Instead of looking at it that way, you're now saying like, oh, well, some people did, but here's what actually happened. And you're going to this obscure evidence. It's this idea. It's like the Joe Rogan. It's just like the new Joe Rogan thing, right? No matter what's in front of you, believe something else. That's how you get played. That's the whole point.
But we both can say that Antifa was there, even though the picture was imagey, like he's never scratchy or whatever.
No, you can't say that Antifa was there. You literally can't. You can say you think they were, but there is no concrete evidence that anybody who was a member of Antifa was there.
Okay, what about the videos that show the outside police that were out there opening the gates, allowing all those people to come in?
Yeah, so if you watch the January 6th commission, you'll see these officers have testified. The guy with the horns when they're walking him around, right? Both officers that were walking him around and taking him to different doors, and Jacob Chansley, they have all testified that like they were just trying to lead him in the wrong direction, right? So they would open doors that would lead people away from where the trouble was. They were trying to disperse the crowd. So when they open up gates and say like, oh, it's open over here, they're trying to get the crowd to disperse. They're trying to be able to protect the part that they need to protect and move people into other places. All you have to do is watch the testimony. This has all been covered.
Okay,
but again, like, why did you stop there? Why did you stop with, oh, well, we know Antifa was there and we know these police officers were letting people in. Why did you stop there and not go,
I was going to continue, but you, like you normally do when you were talking to the other individual, you jumped before I can actually finish, my underlying statement. So Trump is about to be indicted for the 1-6, correct?
I mean, I think maybe. I don't know what he's going to be indicted.
Okay, so will he be able to cross-examine all those people that testify, whether they be in Congress, officials, the cops, and all that good stuff that's all there too, as well, and watch all the videos, have all that evidence, and be able to cross-examine every single person?
I think anything that had to do with this case, like, so when you have a court case, like, you can't just go cross-examine everybody, but anybody that they used as evidence, yeah, you'd be able to cross-examine them.
Okay, so the only thing that he's probably going to be convicted of is the stuff that's in New York. He's not going to be able to beat that. Like, if you actually, there's no way.
Did you read the indictment? The indictment in Florida? What are you talking about?
That he's definitely going to surpass that. We're talking about 1-6.
How is he going to get out of that?
Let me get to the 1-6, and we'll work our way to Florida. I promise you. Okay, so the 1-6, I'm just going to say checkmate, because the moment he does that, everyone that lied about what happened in the car, also what happened when he made the statement, everyone is accountable for their own actions. Would you be able to?
Why are you saying they lied?
Because there was like three testimonies that said that Trump acted.
The one in the car, the person, they said like, we know who was in the car with him. We know which part of the Secret Service was there, and they'll come forward and they'll testify that didn't happen. Well, they didn't ever come forward. They never came forward. You're saying things are lies that you just have heard that they're lies.
No. I watched that. That lady said she heard third party say that he leaped forward and tried to turn the car around. That's exactly what she said.
She didn't say he tried to turn the car
around.
Yes,
she did.
She reached.
Pull the video up. Pull the video up before you and I continue. Pull that video up.
Calm down. She said he reached for his neck, and they assumed that he was trying to get them to stop. Right. This is Cassidy Hutchinson.
That lady specifically said that he tried to reach for the steering wheel.
Well, maybe, but even then, like,
no, it's not maybe. You're literally okay. Like I said in the beginning,
let's just say that you're right. Who has refuted that?
That's the thing. That's the thing. He's going to be able to cross-examine.
So it won't matter because they're not going to put that.
It will matter.
That person will not be a witness. They would never call that person as a witness.
Okay, but she did testify as a witness to what was said.
Yeah, in a congressional hearing, not a court case.
It doesn't matter though.
It does matter. No, it's completely different. No. You can't. No, a good attorney would not use her as a witness. There's no way, because she can't prove any of that.
So my guy, let me ask you a question though. When I asked you this,
right?
Wait. I asked you a question. I said, will he be able to cross-examine anybody who testified 1-6? And you said, I don't know, maybe. And the thing is, it's a yes. He will. If she's a part of that list,
it's not a yes. It's
able
not
to
a
cross-examine
yes.
her.
It's not a yes.
It
You're
is
wrong.
yes.
No,
it's not.
No, they would have to call her as a witness first.
They will, because she testified.
Why? She testified. She testified in a congressional hearing. I don't think you understand the difference between a congressional hearing and a court case. Like, you would never bring a good attorney would never bring her as a witness unless you had corroborating stories, right? Unless there were like 3 people who were telling the same story, and then you would bring them, and then Trump's team would cross-examine them and try and pick it apart. But yeah, you wouldn't just bring. Well, if they brought her, maybe. But why are you so sure that Trump's going to be able to cross-examine? Trump's team will cross-examine her and pick her apart. Why are you sure that she's lying?
That sat there and constantly berated and made up these farce.
Why are you sure that she's lying? I said.
Because it's third party. First of all.
Why? No, that's not a reason why you think she's lying. Why do you think she's lying?
Okay, wait.
What's the evidence?
So first of all, you just cut me off. So if someone says something about me in third party reference, right? And I know it was a lie, and then I know it's a lie, and someone tells you, yeah, that's a lie, and I know that's a lie because he or she would never have done that.
But
Why
this
would
isn't
you
about you. Neither you nor I was there. This is third party about an event that neither you nor I were a part of.
But yet she was able
I'm not
to
saying
go
that
to
she
the
was telling.
congressional hearing
I'm not saying that she was telling the truth.
under oath.
Hold on. I'm not saying she's telling the truth or lying. You're the one saying she's lying. You're making a claim to her truth like you know. You don't know.
But she was under oath, was she not?
In Congress. But again, it's a different case. They can't just bring her up. I don't think you understand how court cases work.
Involved in? But what case was this involved in?
It was not a case. It was a congressional hearing.
About
January 6th.
Okay, thank you. So you just look, don't get mad, bro. Don't get upset.
Mad. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yes, I do. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And don't call me potato, and don't say what you said to the other guy, because unlike everybody that's on this live, I'm a different. That's my name. So I just want to make sure you understand that's my real name.
Shushies.
So
shushies. Listen. There is a difference between a congressional hearing and a court case. In a congressional hearing, you're going to have people come through. You can listen to hearsay. You can listen to all of that. You can cross-examine if you want. But just because there was a congressional hearing about this doesn't mean that everything in that congressional hearing will be included in the court case. They're completely separate. I don't know why you. Hold on. I was almost done. I don't know why you think the way that you think, but you're very, very wrong.
No, because she testified under oath in a congressional hearing about a case that they are building against Trump. Dude, why'd you do that?
Dude, what the fucking dude, you are potato. You are potato salad. You don't even understand how the justice system works. You are potato salad. You don't know how the justice system works. What are you talking about? These are two. Dude, do you know? Okay, we have 3 branches of government, right?
I'm engaged to a paralegal. You're insane.
I don't care if you're engaged to a paralegal. If she thinks that she's also wrong. 3 branches of government, right?
Yeah.
What are the 3 branches of government?
Legislative, judicial, executive.
Okay, and so who oversees court cases? Which branch of government?
I'm pretty sure judicial.
Judicial. Who oversees congressional hearings?
I'm pretty sure legislative.
Legislative. Yeah, see? That's why. You can't take evidence from a legislative. You can't take evidence from a congressional hearing and just bring it over into a court case. If the prosecution doesn't bring that evidence, you don't get to go back and relitigate a congressional hearing. I don't know how you don't understand this. This is crazy.
Yes, I do, bro.
No,
they
you
literally
don't, dude.
testified
No, you
under
don't.
oath in the hearing.
Oh my god, dude! First of all, like your paralegal needs a
No,
little bit
I will
more
ask her
evidence.
when she walked in the door. As soon as she walks in the door,
well, I'm dating an attorney, so now what do we do?
I don't know. Maybe we should.
The attorney's in the chat, and the attorney's saying that like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And
if
you watched Schoolhouse Rock, you would know that this wasn't the case.
You talking about that movie with Jet Black?
That's School of Rock.
Oh no, I don't know what movie. What are you talking about? What movie?
Schoolhouse Rock was like this little cartoon. They would like
Oh, I've
teach you
never
how
seen
our
it before.
government works. Like I'm just a bill. Yes,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
only
yeah, I've
a
seen
bill.
that shit. Yeah,
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 Schoolhouse
yeah.
Rock. Yeah, dude, you're just wrong about this. This is not one you. This is not a hill you want to die on.
I guarantee.
You don't.
I guarantee I'm not that wrong. I guarantee he's still able to cross-examine all the witnesses' testimonies from 1/6 in the congressional hearing that took place because of what happened on 1/6. Oh my God! Then how the fuck did they get any type of evidence for the 1/6 without having the congressional hearing?
They have congressional subpoena power, and so they subpoenaed people.
Oh God! Okay, you're about right.
Do you know about that? Yeah.
I'll have
Yeah.
to look up.
But
Oh my
again, the point of this whole thing is like, dude, everything you believe is so far out in the weeds. It's always like, oh, here's what's going to happen. I promise this is what's going to happen. Can we talk about what did happen?
About 1/6? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like you saw it, right?
Yeah, it was terrible. It was the worst. But here's the thing too about a lot of the riots. Wait. So a lot of the riots that happened, right? They're not as. Are you saying they're not as bad? I'm not trying to pivot. Just FYI, I'm only asking the question. Are the riots that happened before 1/6 worse than what happened at 1/6?
Whatever.
or
I don't know the severity, but they're totally different. And can I tell you why they're totally different?
May I ask why?
Yeah, they're different because one of them was politically motivated and driven by a specific person, and it was meant to stop the peaceful transfer of power. It was meant to overthrow democracy, or at the very least, pause democracy.
Okay,
right? And then we look at the evidence now, like he had these false slate of electors. They were absolutely going to try and steal the election, and they needed these people to stop the process on January 6th so they could steal the election. What happened in the BLM stuff, like that was bad. But you didn't see them showing up with like Biden hats coming straight from a Biden rally saying like Biden sent us here. And when those people got arrested, they weren't like Joe Biden sent us here. We had to do this for Joe Biden. It's totally different.
But you think anything was peaceful between 2015 to 2020?
No, but look who was in office. Look at the guy at the top, and tell me that guy did anything peaceful ever. Of course, it was bad. Every time he had an opportunity to do the right thing, he did the opposite.
I'm defending the fact that since 2015, since he began running, and then until before he stopped being president, there was nothing peaceful about his presidency.
He's not a peaceful person.
But neither
lives
was
in
the
chaos.
Democrats. When you had Green out there saying get in people's faces, when you had actors saying that isn't it time to have another president unalived, and you have Joe Biden, I would take him in the back and punch him in the face. Come on, man, it's like tomato. It's
not tomato because one of them when riots happened in Charlottesville, when you had actual white nationalists marching up and down the street saying Jews will not replace us, and you had somebody drive through a crowd of people, Donald Trump chose, instead of just like doing the sensible thing and saying like, I condemn the violence, he decided to be like, oh, there were good people on both sides. When people protested, at the Capitol,
you're not going to get up here on your live to lie about that. He did say that, but play the whole clip.
Why?
Because that's not all he said. He did condemn those people. So play the whole fucking clip. Don't sit there and talk shit if you're not going to back it up.
Ernie, what I said is instead of just condemning the violence. So that means he did condemn the violence. I said instead of just condemning. Shut the fuck up, dude. I said instead of just condemning the violence, he had to add that shit too. He had to add that shit too because I'll say whatever I want, Ernie.
Yeah,
and if you don't like being spoken to that way, you can leave.
TikTok, my guy. Relax.
I know, Ernie. And if you don't like being spoken to with potty words, then toughen up.
It's not about being potty words.
Somewhere else.
You're going to show some respect because I've never cursed at you one bit.
I don't care.
I never
curse at me.
Disrespect you in the manner what you just did me.
I curse. Deal with
That's fine, but don't tell me what the fuck to do because I'm not like everybody on live. This is my name, and everybody else on TikTok, anybody can be literally like found and actually exposed.
Congratulations on using your name. That's terrific. I don't care.
Okay, I bet you $100 you would if it was real life. So let's relax.
That I would what? that
You
I
would
wouldn't.
definitely talk to me
If
in
you
a
were
definitely
saying no, if we
respectful
were
manner.
talking like this and you were
Hey,
saying and you were
I'm just
interrupting
telling you
me,
what it is,
I would
bro.
say
My
shut the
time to
fuck
talk.
up. I would say it again. Yeah, I
No,
would.
I guarantee you
Oh,
wouldn't.
I would.
All right, let's
Okay,
relax
cool.
now. So continue what you were saying.
I'm glad I'm glad we got to dick measure there for a second. That was really
Yeah,
enjoyable.
because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
I
my
know.
dick
I
was a
know.
little longer than yours. So
Yeah,
continue.
MAGA feelings are sensitive. I get it. I know.
Hey,
You guys,
I ain't a MAGA though.
you
Relax,
sound
bro.
a lot like
I said
MAGA.
that
But
in the
what I
beginning.
said
So
was,
you're already losing.
is that instead of just condemning the violence, he had to go ahead and also, for some reason, say that, oh, there were some good white nationalists there too. Like, dude, why do you have white nationalists marching and you say there were some good people? Who's a
There
good
were.
white nationalist? Name a good white nationalist.
I'm. If you actually listen to what was said, he wasn't calling them.
Who was he talking about then? That's who was marching.
It wasn't just them.
Then who was he talking about?
There was two sides of the
Who was
opposition.
he talking about?
Everybody that day.
Everybody, gotcha. Yeah, he just had to throw that in. You know why? Because here's a little bit of truth that Republicans that work in politics won't tell you.
Mhm.
They can't win without the white nationalists. They have to
What are you
appease
talking
white
about?
nationalists.
Didn't the leader of the KKK
You
did not get like?
can't win
Oh my
without
God, there's
you
no way you're
can't
being real right now.
win without white nationalists.
You mean the Democrats can't win without that?
No,
You're-
the Democrat. No, they vote overwhelmingly Republican.
That's not entirely true, my guy. You're absolutely right about
It
that
is
not
true.
entirely true.
It
You-
is
you
true.
were
I didn't say.
literally-
Wait, hold
Okay,
on. Hold on.
so
What
you
I said
told
is
me to
they
watch
hold on.
out because
Hold on.
disinformation
Real
you
quick.
get kicked off,
Real
right?
quick. Ernie,
You're doing that right now.
Ernie, real quick. I need you to understand what I said. I said overwhelmingly, right? Overwhelmingly vote Republican. Now you said that's not entirely true. So if you name some white nationalists that voted for Democrats, I'm still right because I said overwhelmingly.
Yeah, but again,
okay, so you would have to show me
overwhelmingly.
some evidence that a bunch of white nationalists are supporting Democrats. I'd be happy to hear that evidence.
Can I ask you a simple question?
No,
Do you know that?
I'd
Let
be
me ask
happy
you a
to hear
simple
that
question.
evidence. Are we
That's
moving
fine. I
on?
definitely will. Do you know that Democrats vote for certain Republicans, so certain Republicans can be the front runner, and Republicans do that for Democrats as well when they vote?
in primaries, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
I worked in politics for a long time. It happens all the time.
That's
I'm
awesome.
I'm still a registered Republican for that exact reason.
Okay. I like you a lot. You're an interesting character. So no, I really do like you. I mean, I love everybody on the planet because I have no choice, but like I definitely do like you. So with that being said, okay, so now that we know that, okay, you do realize that Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and many Democrats presided over the funeral of that leader from the KKK, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
What
with
did he
that
do?
being said, wait.
No, wait. Hold on. Let's tell the truth about him.
About who?
Let's tell his whole story.
Yeah, go ahead because
So he was a member of the KKK, and then he denounced that, and for the next 30 years, he spent his entire life fighting against that organization. He left the organization and then fought against them for the rest of his life. Why'd you leave that part out?
Are we talking about the same guy? Please
The guy
tell
that
me.
was the senator?
What?
The guy that was the senator?
No, not the senator. I'm not talking
You're
about the
talking
senator.
about Robert Byrd?
Yes.
Yeah, Robert Byrd was a senator.
Oh, I never knew that. I swear to God, I never knew that.
or in Congress, he was one of the two.
Yeah, I think it was Congress. I don't think it was the senator.
Yeah, so he left the KKK. Then he fought against them the rest of his life. And that's when, after he left the KKK, is when he became friends with all these people, by the way. Weird. Is it weird to you that when he left the KKK, he became a Democrat? Is that strange to you?
No, not at all, actually. You choose who you want to be. That's how
Yeah, but why wouldn't he have been a Republican?
anybody can choose what they want to be.
Do you know who David Spencer is? Richard Spencer, excuse me. You know who that is?
No, I do not.
Richard Spencer, his family said that in their house, they would watch Tucker twice. They would watch Tucker, they'd record it and watch it again because he shared the white nationalist message better than they could. They loved Trump because what they were able to do is throw out these white nationalists like dog whistles, get out their messaging, and be able to do it undercover. Like they could have it under this cover of ambiguity. And that's what you see with the Republican Party. There's always this layer of like, oh no, it's about small government, or it's about freedom of speech. That's why, like, when Donald Trump came around, Nick Fuentes, the Spencers, they all, instead of talking about their white nationalist beliefs, they all became free speech warriors. Why do you think that happened? because they saw that you're protected. You throw on that mask. You start talking about free speech, people will just assume that you're a good person. You're just a good old Republican. It doesn't matter if you're a white nationalist. You're talking about free speech. And then they get to disavow your white nationalist beliefs and be like, well, I didn't agree with that. I just agreed with the free speech stuff.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's very terrible.
I mean, Stephen Miller, he's a self-proclaimed white nationalist.
Yes,
Trump hired him to work
I
in
have
his
no
cabinet.
I have no idea why he did that. That was very confusing, to be very honest with you.
How about Steve Bannon?
What about Steve Bannon?
Steve Bannon, white nationalist, anarchist, wants to rip the whole thing down. Trump keeps hiring him.
Proven as a white nationalist? I never heard that before.
I mean,
Steve Bannon?
he holds those same beliefs. He would never. He's smart enough never to come out and say it, but he'll platform all sorts of white nationalists.
I see. I'm writing everything you're saying down right now just to make sure I do a little bit of research when I come back up here.
How about when Trump had dinner with Kanye, who at the time was an obvious anti-Semite, and Nick Fuentes, a white nationalist and anti-Semite, and he had dinner with him. Why do you think why is Trump having dinner with probably the most influential white nationalist in the country?
Okay, so you said Kanye is an anti-Semite. You know why he is, right?
I don't care why he is, but he is. And Trump had dinner with him and Nick Fuentes, the most influential white nationalist in this country. Everybody knows who Nick Fuentes is. Every Republican knows who Nick Fuentes is.
I don't agree with
why is Trump having dinner with him?
But I understand. Again, you and I do not like the fact that
the answer is because you can't win the Republican nomination without speaking to the white nationalists. You have to appeal to white nationalists in order to win the Republican nomination. That's why.
Then why did he denounce him when he was going against Biden on that? What is that? The 2024 debate?
They were talking about David Duke, and he said, "I've never heard of David Duke." Bad news, dog. We have like 20 quotes of you talking about David Duke. We know you knew who David Duke was. You had denounced him previously. And then on the debate stage, he's like, oh, I don't know who that is. I don't know. And then you'll notice he waited until he could do it like not on a national debate stage. Because the white nationalists don't actually care. They don't care if you like softly denounce them, if it's seen as like you just keeping that under wraps, but it's like a wink and a nod, right? They don't care. Same with the Proud Boys. That's why it was stand back and stand by. Don't denounce him. Stand back and stand by. You knew what he was doing. You use that shifty language to keep them happy.
The leader of the Proud Boys, wasn't he like an African American, Puerto Rican? Like he was mixed.
Yeah, I don't know that the Proud Boys are necessarily white nationalists. I'd say they're more like Christian nationalists.
I don't think everybody that breaks it up. I just get confused because like I've seen so many different races in that.
You can be a white nationalist and not be white, though. It's possible.
That's insane.
Why?
I don't care what it is. Anybody who hates anybody for anything like that of that scenario needs to be like.
I mean, Donald Trump has said some pretty questionable things about Jewish people.
Yes, he has.
He said some pretty questionable thing about African American people. There's a reason that he's the head of the Republican Party, and there's a reason that you can't bring him down. It's because all the worst people, the Alex Joneses, the Nick Fuentes, the Stephen Millers, the what did I say his name? Steve Bannon. They love him because they think he's doing the best job presenting their message. And those people are influential. There are more white nationalists than you think, and they're all over on the right. And if you dog whistle and you appease them, you're going to do well.
So, just real quick, are you saying that majority of white nationalists are Republicans?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, why would they be Democrats?
Yellow notepad here. I'm just taking notes. I'm on my third page. Every time you say something, I'm just making sure I do all the research that you're telling me.
Like if you look at what Democrats stand, for,
we're going to debate harder than we are right now. Because right now you think I'm probably crazy, but I think you're probably a little off the wall yourself. Because I think you're not telling like 100% of the truth. But I do know that you're smart, and I do know that you know what you're talking about. Because as I'm looking up certain things that you're saying on my other phone. Yeah, there are some things like Steve Bannon. There's nothing here on white nationalists so far, but I'm pretty sure if I keep looking harder, I'm going to find something.
Well, but the thing is like what beliefs of the Republican Party or the Democrat Party would white nationalists like agree with?
Again? I didn't hear that. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Oh, sorry. If you're talking about white nationalists and you're saying, like, why would they vote Republican? You'd have to look at the Democrat platform. Like, what part of the Democrat platform would white nationalists agree with?
Planned Parenthood, I think. I mean, that's the first thing I thought of when you said that.
Well, but no, that's only if you're talking about, like, the founder of Planned Parenthood. That's not even talking about modern day Planned Parenthood. They like to say that because of the eugenics, right? But modern day Planned Parenthood, like, white nationalists generally are not pro-choice. They're very pro-life, right?
Oh shit. Yeah.
So would they want? I mean, we don't have open borders, but they think that. Would they want more people coming in from the southern border? No.
I mean, we do have open borders right now, though, it seems like.
We don't. But even if we did, the Democrat, like, white nationalists wouldn't want that.
Wait, you're saying that we don't?
I don't think white nationalists are like white nationalists are not a big fan of, like, trans people. There's nothing about the Democrat Party that would appeal to a white nationalist. So of course they're going to vote for Republicans.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not to say that, like, all Republicans are white nationalists, but there are enough white nationalists, even people that would not call themselves white nationalists. But if you listen to their views, you'd be like, okay, well, that's pretty close, or at least Christian nationalists. You have to appeal to those people. You have to appeal to this idea that, like, there's this moral I don't know, this moral objectivity that, like, Democrats can't see and only Republicans can, right?
No, that's farce, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, to be very honest, that's a closed mindset, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you were a Republican, you'd be very careful. If you were running for office as a Republican, you've got to be very careful not to make the Christian nationalists mad, because they're a bigger group than you think. Now, the militant version, the militant side of Christian nationalists and the militant side of white nationalists, that's a smaller group, because most people don't want to be militant. But it does scare me that if it came down to it and the militant group got loud enough, that a bunch of people would just follow along.
Yeah, I don't take orders quite well.
All right.
Well, what I want to say is, I don't know your name, but I'm just going to call you Talks.
Jay. It's Jay.
Jay. Well, I'm Ernie.
Yeah.
I will be back
Nice to meet you, Ernie.
in a couple of weeks because, like I said, I don't like to just jump
brother.
on something. I'm going to look at everything you told me. I wrote down a lot because I don't just come up here thinking I know it all, because I don't. But I do know some things. But that little court thing, I definitely have to do some little research. Like I said, when she walks in the door, that's the first thing I'm going to tell her. Like, hey, sit down, tell me. Hey, I'm just saying, I have no beef with you at all. I mean, when you
appreciate it.
When you got like a dick, I put my boss on the table too, real quick. You know, I'm just quick like that.
Short memory, I love
no
it.
harm, no foul. Hey,
I
great
appreciate it.
host, by the way, and everybody else.
Appreciate
Thank you all. Thank you for existing. Take care.
I do see it. All right, now this is what everybody's waiting for. It's time. Miss Julie. Miss Julie.
Hi.
How are we? How we doing?
Can you hear me okay?
You sound like your resources are a little low. You're sounding a little bit weak.
I'm having to be discreet.
Okay.
Hey, what the hell? You followed that guy Anthony back? You still won't follow me back?
Wait, I follow you.
What kind of sick
Oh my
power
God.
play is this, Jay?
I got it. I'm sorry. I fixed it.
God.
I didn't know. I didn't know I didn't follow you. I'm sorry.
I thought it was because he was some financial bro and could have really good conversations about money. Because you probably hate poor people, Jay. I digress.
Could be. That could be what it was.
I've been trying to talk to you all weekend. What's this bullshit you saying you talked to me and I sounded in good spirits? Yeah, I've been calling you.
I'm sorry for saying you sounded in good spirits. I apologize.
Yeah, it must have been my cousin, Superior Sheila. Wasn't me. You
I'm
see,
sorry.
I've taken a bit of a trip.
Like you fell or you went on a vacation?
Well, let's just say I'm up the river, but I'm not on a cruise. Like I got a full-time scholarship to Conn College.
Oh no! Oh,
Come
you didn't
on,
get out.
The
You
Gray
didn't
Bar
call.
Hotel, the Slammer, the
You didn't
Flink,
call me.
the
You didn't
Hotel.
call me. You said you would call if you needed bail. Did they? Did you not get bail?
I call all weekend. You're probably out at your fancy, expensive golf course or with
That's
your very real, very liberal girlfriend.
That's right. That's right. Spending all this money I make on TikTok. That's correct. Well, so what were the charges?
Well, we haven't gotten to that yet. I haven't appeared before the judge. I used up all my phone calls over the weekend, but Fortunately, my cellie had an old Nokia 3310 up her prison pocket, so it smells kind of funny, but she's letting me use it anyway. Any port in a storm. So I gotta tell ya, I thought I was home free, using that fake Southern accent on the cops to
Yeah,
try and lure them into the fact that I'm just a nice old lady.
that's right.
Yeah, well, as they were finishing up their pudding, the din in the hallway from the neighbors was getting a lot louder. So the police took a peek out, and turns out they were out there with tiki torches and frisbees. Like, what's on the freezer?
What were the frisbees for? What were the
Well,
frisbees
you
for?
know what? Those cosplatriots trying to save money on Wish.com and thought they were getting riot shields, and instead they got a whammo frisbee. Idiots. So for my own safety, the police escorted me out of the building. And I was feeling a little better by then, feeling chipper, and started talking about my experience with the pigeons and, selling them to the restaurant, how good those pigeon poppers were with the tingly heads, paint, hot sauce. And, yeah, things got serious after that.
Oh,
They
man.
put me in the back of the car. I heard phrases going back and forth like animal cruelty and improper disposal of a body. It was more of a carcass, but what do I know? I'm not a legal kind of person, and I'm not dating a paralegal like that last guy.
Well, that's too bad. That would really
So,
come in handy in your current situation if you had somebody that you were dating that was, more praised on the law.
yeah, somebody that could help.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to keep it low so I don't get discovered.
Yeah.
So I did get safely out of the building. I've been arrested. No word on bail yet. I should see the judge tomorrow. Would have been today, but some defendant went crazy and stripped down naked and took a shit on the prosecutor's table. So they got hazmat, and it's a whole thing. It's just a whole thing.
I'm sorry to hear that. Or were you more upset that it got delayed a day, or that other defendant took your idea?
Well, he kind of stole my thunder, but
That's what I figured.
I'm sure I can come up with an equal spectacle that, for the sake of the people in the courtroom, hopefully won't include me being naked. Just saying.
Well, I look forward to hearing about what you come up with.
Well, I'll strip if I have to. All right,
Yeah.
somebody's coming out here, Keys. I gotta go, Jay. I'll check in tomorrow
Miss
and let
Julie,
you know how it goes.
best of
with the
luck.
judge, all right?
Be on
All
your
right.
best behavior for that judge.
Oh, you know me.
Bye,
Bye.
Miss Julie. Look, it's good to see Miss Julie. I will never again say that Miss Julie was in good spirits. I will never again say that. That's a good spot to end. We'll go. I want to thank B. I don't usually shout out one commenter, but I periodically check in on the comments here, and I've seen B, and I just want to say that B has to be my number one fan. From the second I log on until the second I log off, B is here, rooting for me, loving me. Thank you, B. I know you're just teasing. Charles, I don't have time for your shit today. You can come back tomorrow. But B, really, I appreciate the support. Not some people show up and they just show up to be entertained, but not you, B. You show up every day, rain or shine. You remind us that Parker's great too, which I'm sure Parker loves, and I appreciate that. You're a real B. Thank you very much. 9:30 to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday. We're going to work on a weekend show. The merchandise link is in my bio. The Discord link is in my link tree, but it doesn't work. So if you want a Discord link, send me a message. I apologize for being kind of slow on those. I'm trying to get better. Back's feeling a little bit better. I didn't think I would make it through the whole day. We learned about crypto. We learned about January 6th, and we learned what it's like to spend a little time in a woman's jail. And hopefully we get Miss Julie out of there soon. But I appreciate you guys' support for the likes, the subscriptions. Thank you for all the new subscriptions. As a reminder, on YouTube, I'll be posting our replays every day. I just had some issues last week. I'll get them up today and tomorrow, but those will become the full replay should be available the evening after every show. So I'll have those up. And like and subscribe there. Am I missing anything? Hole has something to say. Hole, I'll give you a couple minutes.
Hi, I just want to say hi. I heard that you met me.
I did meet you.
What did you say about me? I missed it.
I actually said you were nice. I actually did say you were nice.
Nope, that's not the report I got back.
Did I say something mean? What did I say?
You said I was worse in person than on.
No, you are worse in person. Yeah, but you were nicer than I expected. I thought you would be more unpleasant, and I thought you would smell worse.
Well, okay. I appreciate you being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. Well, I know that you got to run, so I just want to say hi. That's all.
Well, I miss you. Are you enjoying the weather today? You're still here, right?
It's really hot. Yeah, I'm still here. It's very hot. I'm enjoying it. Arizona is a barren wasteland. It's a godless place, and I can't believe people live here. And I'm going to come back again another time.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you. And I will see everybody else tomorrow. If you're in Arizona sometime and you want to hang out, maybe we can make that work. I appreciate Hole and friends for inviting me just for the evening. We enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you.